Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or are you just happy to see me?
Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are back for another round of ones and twos, and RoboCop 1 and 2 won the poll on Twitter. And I'm not shocked that it won, but I thought it would be closer amongst all four films. But it really came down to like a neck and neck between RoboCop 1 and 2 and Lethal Weapon 1 and 2, and RoboCop just edged out Lethal Weapon 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Just edged it out.
Well, those ones will be fun to talk about when we get to them as well.
Yes, and someone recommended to me possibly saving Jaws 1 and 2 for closer to the summer. And yeah, I'll do that closer to the summertime because it is technically a summer-esque type movie pretty much. So I'll save it for closer to then. So the next poll will still include Ghostbusters 1 and 2 and Lethal Weapon 1 and 2, and I have to come up with a couple others to flesh out. So it's like 4 choices for people for the next round of ones and twos. But for this one, RoboCop 1 and 2. Now, normally before I say hello to the chat, I ask people which one they prefer, but I cannot answer that right now because I cannot remember the second one that well. I know I've seen it. But it's been a while since I've seen it. So I'd have to rewatch it and go, definitely prefer one or the other. Right now, I'm leaning one just because I generally tend to gravitate towards the ones that kick off the franchise. Because without the first one and like the success it has, we wouldn't have the sequels. Is kind of how I look at it. So I kind of look at it from that perspective. And generally, the storytelling is much simpler in the first movies of each franchise. So, which is what I tend to prefer. But so the chat, well, not chat, but orange chat. Before I say hello to the chats, let everybody know where they can find you, all that fun stuff. And of the two, which one would you say you prefer as of now?
Well, first off, introductions. I am Orange Hat Reviews. You could find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, all under Orange Hat Reviews, under this I forget what that's called.
Avatar or
yeah, that avatar or that profile picture. I do mystery reviews. I just did during the month of February, I'm doing reviews on movies that have a romantic element to them because Valentine's Day and all that stuff. And I just got done doing Legend. So
I've not seen that movie in years.
Which version of it? There's like 3.
Well, the one with Tim Curry as the devil and
it's the same, or they're all the same movie. There's just 3 different versions of it.
Oh, different version. I guess the theatrical version or something like that. Because I didn't realize there was 3. So I'm guessing the more theatrical one. Yeah,
the one with the Tangerine Dream. Music. But anyway, I also am doing a guest choice review tomorrow with Geek Detective Pierce on my channel. We're talking about the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
I remember that too.
Yep. I haven't seen that in years. I'm going to be watching it tonight. But also, I've moved to the afternoons for my mystery reviews for anybody who hasn't learned that yet. I am now doing them at 2:30 in the afternoon, so I'm not competing with those lovable fucking Aussies.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But, so yeah, I do that. As for the movie, or which one I prefer out of these two, the first one originally, actually, yes, I do prefer the original. It's more visceral. It's more rated R centric. It's definitely one that isn't afraid to bend or break the rules, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And because they are back in the 80s and 90s, folks, these movies just had no qualms, about graphic violence. And that's one of the things that I miss nowadays in movies and shows and whatnot. But this one is by far more superior. Don't get me wrong, I love RoboCop 2, but this one is better.
Mm-hmm. Okay, like I said, as I I don't remember RoboCop 2 as well, and I saw Trey's comment earlier about how there was a big robot fight at the end, and that's what I remember primarily, was the big robot fights at the end of the movie. But
it's a drug battle and a robot fight.
yeah,
That's all you need to know.
most of the movie I don't remember too well, so I'd have to rewatch it, or I'm going to be rewatching it next week. So I'll have a clearer picture in my head, and I can say for sure next week which one I'd prefer. But right now, I would say I'm leaning the first one. Kind of like the similar reasons you gave, because of how visceral it was. It's really a simple storyline. It's a really simple storyline. There is social commentary in it, but I like how it's more in the themes. But it's not exactly in your face, because it's at a time where we're still in the kind of the throes of the Cold War. So you have little like nods here and there to like the board game the family plays in the commercial, where it's like Nukem, things like that.
Yeah.
With fear of world leaders with their fingers over the red button and things like that, nukes going off, and dystopian worlds, but set in present day, pretty much.
Well, actually, it's more set in 20 years from now, I do believe.
So, well, like relatively present day, so it's not like 100 years in the future or something like that.
It's a possible future, let's just say that. Although,
another thing that struck me before I say hello to the chat is how eerily prescient some of these 80s movies are for certain cities. Because I was watching this going, that's pretty much Detroit now.
Well, actually, I'd be thinking it's more Chicago than Detroit.
More Chicago, but Detroit's pretty close.
Yeah.
Detroit's pretty close. I'm like, they've been
actually
prescient. Yeah.
Detroit actually is now number 2 when it comes to crime ridden.
Yeah.
Chicago beat
it. Yeah, Chicago beat it. But I was like, I'm watching this movie going, man, they saw the future somehow.
Yeah, I know, right?
But
like, holy shit.
Yeah, from the top, I see Trey says, "Hey, Mara and guess I'm ready for this lit discussion. Murphy's death still gets me." That's
Yes.
Speaking of visceral, and it's like, "Can you fly, Bobby?" I love how Kurtwood Smith. I love how
everybody knows him as Red Foreman. Me,
yeah,
I'm always gonna know him as Clarence Boddicker.
I know, but I love how just Clarence just like looks at him and goes, "Can you fly, Bobby?" Just asks that question. Giggles and Bits, hello, says, "I love this movie. My father used to patrol the neighborhood that Murphy goes in search of his family." Nice. Soul Assassin, hello. Keely, what's up? Hound 3000 says, "Wolf of Arf, bark bark, everyone. Good to see you." Ms. Martin Muses, hello. The Glam Dude, hello. Good to see you. Vanya, good to see you as well.
Hound 3000.
My Rumble, this will be mirrored over there. So. You only consider one RoboCop movie, not a fan of the sequels or the remake. Oh, like to each their own. To each their own. I think like generally from like the pattern I've seen, especially with 80s movies, is the sequel at least holds up, relatively speaking, to the original. But franchises nowadays, I'm like, just stop at one. Why do you keep going? Pretty much. Like
Demolition
Joker,
Man,
like Joker's getting a sequel, and I'm like, why?
Demolition Man saw the future. Yep, Hound 3000. That's absolutely. Oh my god, that movie does not get enough credit.
Sunny Brave Megatron says, "I have never seen RoboCop. Looks like robot appropriation to me. It's if you have never seen it, you should. It's an awesome movie from 1987.
Get out your Auto 9s, folks."
Yep. We don't talk about RoboCop 3. We don't talk about anything past the second one. We don't talk about the remake or anything like that.
Irvin Kershner did a good job with it. Although Peter Weller did have a good point that it should have been more Rock'em Sock'em Robots at the end instead of that small pause. But we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah, so
in a week.
Yeah. And like Irvin Kershner, to his credit, like
he does good.
The script you're given, you can only do so much with it sometimes. So it's like you try to be as creative as possible to pull out like the best shot, the best scenario, things like that. At least to keep people's attention. So to his credit, you can only do so much with whatever your script you're given to work with.
Oh my god, Soul Assassin, is that true?
Eventually I'll get there. Lancer. One thing I loved about Mortal Kombat 11 is it's the coolest. We will get a live action Terminator versus RoboCop. Oh, and there's a Buckaroo Banzai. Yep. Well, look at the posters behind me. Right there. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. Right there. See that poster? I know what
That
you're talking
movie was
about.
a trip.
I know. I told you. I
Yeah,
told you it would be a
she
trip.
did recommend that, and it's like that movie's a trip, man. I mean, Peter Weller's in it, so yeah.
Yeah. Yep. No matter where you go, there you are.
Well, Trey, I would actually say send me the video to Twitter, but I can't because Twitter is having a cyber attack right now.
Yeah, Twitter's asshole right now. DMs are down. No, the shit's not working pretty much.
Yeah.
Hello, Tina. Mr. Bentham, let's go. No. So yeah, I didn't realize that. I mean, I played a little bit of Mortal Kombat 11, but I never really got into it. Let's see. It says Orange Hat was right about Demolition Man. They're selling rat for food in New York from a video. And ugh.
I will never. I have a friend who lives in New York, not in Manhattan, but in Brooklyn. I'm actually gonna have to call him tonight. It's like, dude, you better tell me straight up, are they serving rat burgers?
Yeah. Hey, Dead Punk Twitter always asks, oh yeah, now it's just not working pretty much.
After the shit that they've been after all the shit that's been going on, I mean, I'm starting to doubt Elon Musk's competency.
Yeah. I didn't care about for the remake of RoboCop, saw it in theaters. We just generally don't talk about it.
The remake was interesting. I will give him that. However, it's nowhere near comparable to the original.
No.
It's an attempt. It's like 2016. It's an attempt for Ghostbusters.
It's like that meme. It's like that meme with Bart. There was an attempt.
Yeah, there was an attempt, but it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. Abomination, no. And Jackie Earle Haley was wasted. Jackie Earle Haley is like, again, like I think I said this last week or something, or like one of the Wednesday streams where it's like he's actually a very good actor, and he's one of the few actors I know off the top of my head who turned his life around. He basically started a career out as a child actor and got really heavy into drugs. So basically, his career is much shit.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, so his career went to shit for a while, and then he got himself clean, and then he came back. He played the Freddy Krueger in the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, and he could have been an awesome Freddy Krueger because he was an awesome Rorschach. But he was wasted in that film. Same thing. Where like he says that Jackie Earle Haley is wasted. He's actually a very good actor, but he gets wasted in some roles. So,
I mean, the best line in that attempt at RoboCop, it's like, what happens when you tase a little asshole in a exoskeleton? He was the little asshole in the exoskeleton, so it's like, go ahead. You fucking invite that shit, dude. What the hell?
Yep. I know I've seen the Total Recall remake, but I don't remember it that well. I thought, like, at least when I initially thought it was a decent of the remakes, it was like probably the decent attempt I've seen.
Yeah. I've seen it.
That doesn't compare, still in my opinion, to the original Total Recall. But better than most remakes I've seen. So.
Colin Farrell is a better man today because of that movie. You want to know why? Because he got to get pussy tackled by Kate Beckinsale.
Oh yeah, there you go. So I know I've seen it, but I don't remember really much of anything about it. But anyway, so let me just share my screen. I have it on mute. I'm gonna try not to play it. But RoboCop, 1987. And I love how I wish I could play the opening because the opening starts out with a news commentary. Oh, Gravy D, I forgot to thank you for gifting a member earlier to Corey. Thank you so much. While I was thinking about that, and $2 super chat from Albert. Hello, good to see you. But yeah, but like the beginning of the movie is like again, not a theme that is in the movie, but like you interspersed with these newscasters.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a feel for basically this situation of not only Detroit but of the world, things like that. Because you have shit going on in Mexico, you have like shit going on in like other places of the world, and pretty much the scenario you can get just from these newscasters is it's all bad. Pretty much, it's all bad.
Corporations are basically ruling the world. kind of like Alien universe.
Yeah, which is again kind of like I think it's like I don't want to say a trope, but a theme in a lot of '80s films about the dangers of big corporations taking over, taking control, and controlling the things that they shouldn't be controlling. Much like how you see themes of too much government control and what that can lead to, sort of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the greatest movies of all time. I do agree. Yes, I'll buy that. Yes, that's another thing that would not fly today. I'm watching this movie like that would not fly today.
I have a couple of memes that I created from the original RoboCop, like the "I like it" scene where they're all using the Barrett 50 cals for the super guns and whatnot. It's like, all that is a Barrett 50 cal.
Oh my god! But still, like like I'm just saying, I just like watching those scenes and like it would most likely knock me on my ass from the recoil. But I'd love to fire one of those guns.
I have a friend who has the recoil. They've actually picked it up like this and they're cradled the sucker and fired. It does have a bit of a kick, but the recoil is actually not as bad as people think.
All right, so I might be able to stand on my 2 feet, pretty much.
But if you are, or if you know anything about gun safety, do not stand to the side, either side of a Barrett 50 cal while it's being fired. No. You want to stand perfectly behind the person who's firing it.
So, but like I said, I wish I could play this because you said you get a feel. I love how it builds the world without needing exposition. You get a feel for the world that you're going to be entering in this movie through these newscasters and commercials, pretty much. You have a literal commercial for this doctor trying to. How should I put this? He's basically advertising these hearts, but they don't look like hearts. They look like devices in place of, but basically place of hearts. So you can get models and things like that. Gives you a feel for like the environment you'll be entering.
Yeah.
In this movie. And the villain's named Dick. Yeah. I love how the villain's name is Dick.
Who had really long arms when he fell out of a window.
Yeah. And you have like references like like Vanya says Yamaha, things like that. Yep. So I'm like, oh, I know that.
Yes, Abomination is Barrett 50 cal with explosive tipped ammo.
Yeah. Big corporations are all flawed. They need to be broken down immediately. We need to they're getting too big right now. We do have laws in place that are supposed to prohibit companies from becoming as big as they are, but
monopoly and whatnot.
Yeah, but now they're in the back pockets of politicians. And
problem is they ride the penumbra really well when it comes to big corporations. You're not allowed to monopolize a certain industry or a certain category. That's the line they're basically saying, well, we could buy this, we could buy this, we could buy this, but we're not monopolizing because we do have competition. You're slowly choking the competition.
That's what I'm saying. It's like we need antitrust laws back, and they're not going to do that because it's worthless now. Because
we also need to bring back the fairness doctrine for the press. So,
but anyway, it's like that's kind of like
the 600 S or the 6000 SU. Oh my god, I remember the sucks cars.
I remember as a kid
that's what I call them, the sucks cars.
209 shooting that guy up in the boardroom meeting. Now as a writer, I can see how that set up the need for the human element in RoboCop. Yeah, so that's what I was talking to Orange had reviews about, before we started, and how that element. I'll kind of skip to the boardroom scene. I can't play this even without sounds. I tend to get hit. I don't know why. It's no sounds. So it's not like people can rip the movie from my stream and break copyright laws or anything. So I'm just showing it. I'm trying to get a shot. Okay. It's like 20 seconds to comply. I'm gonna try to get a shot of him standing in front of the robot. Alright. So dude got obliterated, yes. And in this scenario, he's trying to sell I call it ED 209, but ED 209. Very, very militaristic, robotic patrol unit, essentially. And I was watching this scene, and then Miguel Ferrera's character, his name is Bobby, steps in later on after poor Mr. Kinney is literally shredded by this robot. That Chappie.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if anybody's seen Chappie from years back, but they kind of stole a little bit from this movie, if you think about it in a way, because Hugh Jackman's character creates a unit much like the ED-209, much like that, very militaristic, and then you have the other guy played by Dev Patel's character who steps in with more human element. Yes, Chappie is AI, but it's more human versus militaristic. And that's what happens here. That's what happens here. And Chappie kind of borrowed that, for one better way of putting it, for their movie. Yeah. Why use live rounds?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, let's put it this way. Not everyone who rises to the top has brains. All right? But I'm going to see if I can play it. I mean, it's going to be graphic, folks. It's going to be a little bit graphic. But he throws the gun down on the ground because the 209 model says you have 20 seconds to comply. 20 seconds is more than enough time for someone to throw a gun on the ground, and they're unarmed. They are no longer a threat. But there's a glitch. There's a glitch in the droid. He throws the gun down. You have now 15 seconds to comply. All right. Poor Chappie, they didn't treat him that way. No, they didn't. I mean, Chappie, the Chappie in the movie was okay. I'm just watching this film and going, that scenario was in Chappie as well. So, yeah, what a great scene. Yep. Enforcement droid. Yep. So, and he's now targeted Kinney. So no matter where Kinney moves, because he tries running off the side and the droid just follows him. And people are just shoving him away. Because they're going to get shot too. So they throw him over there. And poor guy.
Shredded.
Yeah.
Holy crap, it's...
So when we say visceral, it's visceral.
Dude got turned into red paste, folks.
Yes.
There's only one weapon today that can basically do that nowadays. It's the M111 shotgun. Or the M110 shotgun. That is used in The Expendables by Terry Crews.
Mm-hmm. Yep. A great setup scene so people know that there is this extremely advanced and lethal technology with the people in charge are too incompetent to keep it under control. Well, at least the people behind that specific program are either A, too incompetent to keep it under control, or B, too apathetic to this right here. Because Dick Jones, who's the bad guy in this movie pretty much, was primarily upset that his program got shut down and RoboCop's program was put in its place because he had military contracts lined up for, he said, years. He lost money. That's what he was upset about. Not because he accidentally killed someone. Not because the malfunction happened and a man died literally in front of him. Which is, why he ultimately would have lost the program likely. Because you could tell that technology wasn't complete, wasn't functional. But he thought he still had a chance, and now, like Trey said, his ego was hurt because you had Miguel Ferrera's character. I'm gonna try to skip through a little bit where he talks to this man's only called the old man. He's head of the company. Okay, and and Dick does not like the fact that he feels that Bobby, Miguel Ferrera plays Bobby, goes over his head to talk to the old man, essentially, even though he's right in the room. And says, hey, but we have another program. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. and we can like give you all the details, and we can like put it online like within 3 months. Chuck Norris would have dodged those bullets. Chuck Norris would, yeah. Chuck Norris would not have only dodged those bullets, he would have swallowed them and spat them out and destroyed the ED-209. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just calling it a glitch, but it's a malfunction, basically. I'm saying, like, it's... Like, he would have lost that contract anyway because of the fact that...
Somebody turned on the project or the programming to shoot until it ran out of ammo.
Yeah. Pretty much. So, the programming wasn't...
Because that's when it actually stopped.
Yeah. So... the program itself was not complete. It wasn't ready for the public or anything like that. It would have been a lot longer than 3 months for him to get everything situated, if that. And you have Bobby come in and go, I'm ready in like 3 months. Pretty much not even 3 months. And like Dick's face is just down, pretty much.
Yeah.
Audio seems fine.
Okay.
Yeah, plus all the legal bullshit, things like that. So.
Oh yeah, that dude's family's about to become rich.
yeah, because like even like the old man, like I said, he's only called the old man. He's never given a name, but the one who's president of the company is, he like even like drops like not that specifically, but the fact that they will like be out millions, and one that's like very likely that guy's family. And the president of this company, I was watching this movie, and the scenes he was in, he wasn't in a lot of scenes, but the scenes he was in, I'm listening to his voice, and I'm like, damn it, I know that voice from somewhere. I don't recognize the face necessarily, but I know the voice.
It's Max von Sydow.
So, no, that's not Max von Sydow. That's Dan O'Hurley.
Oh. Voice is like Max von Sydow.
Well, it is like, but it was very familiar to me. And I looked up the movie, and then I like found his character, and I like clicked on IMDb. I clicked on the actor and scrolled through his filmography. And why I recognize his voice is because he played Grig in the Last Starfighter. If anybody's seen that movie, Grig is the alien. Why am I blanking on the human character's name? Fuck. But the kid, the young man who's recruited via the arcade machine to combat the Armada. Yeah, he was also in Halloween 3. Like, I didn't really recognize him from Halloween 3, but I recognized the voice, and he was Grig in The Last Starfighter. Like, you watch RoboCop, and then you watch Last Starfighter, you will hear that voice. I'm like, Alex, yes, thank you, Alex. Like, he and Alex are partnered. So here, like, I'll find a picture of what Grig looks like for those who have not seen The Last Starfighter. You wouldn't know. I mean, you'd have to like hear his voice again. Like I said, let me see if I can find Grig.
I love the men's room scene that comes later on after this.
I'm just gonna stop this. I'm just gonna present this. So that's Grig.
Huh.
That's why I wouldn't have recognized necessarily his face, but I was like, damn, his voice sounds familiar.
Dude literally looks like a turd.
Yeah, but he's a cool character. But this was 3 years before RoboCop. So Last Starfighter came out in 1984, and then RoboCop was like 3 years later.
Nice.
So, yeah. But he is a cool character. He has some funny lines. Anyway, back to RoboCop. All right. So, and the plot of this movie, I love how it just jumps. It sets this up. And then once we're introduced to the main character, and I'm gonna let's see if I can get
Because basically the story is that the police were getting ready to strike because they were getting shafted by corporations.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get a shot of these two on together. So we'll talk about, and that movie's key. That movie's key that he's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it plays to the nature of how well storytelling was back, back in the 80s and 90s, where they actually paid attention to little details. Because you see, this is Peter Weller, plays Murphy, the main character. I think so. But what I remember him from, based on his voice, was The Last Starfighter. And yeah, I pray to God it never gets remade. It does not need a remaking. Yeah, maybe a future stream, because I really love that movie. It was like one of the best plots out there for kids to watch. An arcade game recruits you to actually be a starfighter. Like, what kid wouldn't want to be like at an arcade machine and getting the high score and realizing they're being recruited to fight aliens?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. But anyway, so this is Murphy, and you find out, very quickly, Starfighter, bow sets. Anyway, all right. So Murphy has been transferred. He's not like a new cop or anything. He's just a transfer from, he's in South Detroit to here. And oh god, I wish I could scroll back easily because I want to read the sergeant. Again, people decrying diversity or lack of diversity in movies or anything like that. I can tell they've never watched older films because his sergeant is a black man. The character's name is Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Who's a character himself, because when you're introduced to Reed, he's being followed by two guys. One sounds like a shyster lawyer. The other sounds like another shyster type lawyer, pretty much. But they're trying to get their clients on to be put in on a lesser charge so that he can be released on bail. And Reed literally grabs the one guy by his lapels and says your client is a scumbag and you're a scumbag. And he's just hauling this guy's ass out of the precinct.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one wonderful thing I liked about Reed. He was there's always a scene where he projects presence in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he gives off that air of authority that he has in the movie.
Yeah, like when Murphy's in the locker room. And that's when we get a gist of the police are ready to strike because of the shit they had to deal with on a daily basis.
And another cop died.
Yeah, the one cop died, and the one cop the one cop kind of talking to Murphy or talking to the other cops drops the word strike, and they all go silent when they realize Reed is behind them.
Yep.
And Reed doesn't have to say anything. He's just standing there, and you can tell even if you were in the room, you'd be silent yourself. And I love that about the actor really got to play Reed again, being cast purely based on talent.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because that role could have been had anyone in that role pretty much, but he was the best. He was cast. I'm one of my favorite supporting characters. Because he, being in the military, I get he's a sergeant and I was an NCO, things like that. So I kind of feel for him on that level with the shit he has to deal with from the higher ups, and the fact that the shit rolls downhill. So he has to it hits him first, and he has to bear the bad news to the people, to the I don't want to say underlings, but the lower ranking officers, the grunts. And you can tell he doesn't want to do it, but it's one of those. It's Detroit pretty much. It's Detroit, not 2023 necessarily because Chicago took its place, but it's number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Hassan.
And I love how it's there's we should strike, and he comes in. The funeral's at 2:30. I expect some of you to be there.
Yeah, those are not on duty to be there.
Yeah,
so.
and then he turns around. He's like, and if I hear the word strike out of any of you again, he is Damn.
Yeah, because think of it from his perspective, and part of me agrees with it, and that is because he, it says at one point, we're not plumbers, we're police.
Yeah. We don't strike.
We don't strike. Our duty is to serve and protect. We're not fixing toilets or sinks or anything like that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know that song. Hey, Steve. Yeah, but I'm trying to get like I said, a shot of Lewis, Murphy's partner, them together, and how he was introduced to her. Or how the audience is introduced to her. She's not introduced in this scene. She's introduced because she and another cop are dragging a suspect in, who proceeds to try beating up the two cops. And then you realize one of them is a female. One of them is a woman who soundly
kicks his ass.
Yeah, kicks his shit out of the suspect. And I gotta get her name.
I think it's
Nancy Allen. Nancy Allen.
Yeah, Nancy Allen.
Yeah, so all right. Never really brought up the fact that her sex is never really brought up at all. At least in either a positive or negative light. She's a cop, pretty much.
Yep.
She's a cop. And two, those people were complaining about, strong, love dropping the phrase strong female character. And in their minds, a strong female character can't show any weakness or be hurt in any way or anything like that because, God forbid, anything happened to a woman.
Yeah.
She's a badass. She's strong. And she's hurt.
Yep.
But would never... that people would not be able to fathom that today, that a woman could show emotion. Because she shows a range of emotions, and some of which also is basically her feminine side, because she cares about Murphy when she realizes that RoboCop is Murphy. And like I said, when it's important when you see him spinning the gun, that's her clue. And a testament to the storytelling, where it's a little detail. It seems like one that could just slip in the cracks and not be mentioned at all or anything like that, or not come back into play, but it comes back into play later. Because he tells her, here, you can see from the text, that his son Jimmy watches a cop show called TJ Laser, and it seems like every cool cop does this, so he does it because it makes his kid happy, and it just becomes a thing with him. Yes, Sarah Connor got hurt, Buffy got hurt, both are strong. Yeah, so yeah, she helps Murphy shoot when she's injured. He's injured, yeah. So she's not a Karen. She's not a Karen, and she's not a Mary Sue. But she's still strong in her own right. So, and you can tell she's been at this job for a while. Murphy's assigned to be her partner. And Murphy even says, Murphy even gets behind the wheel of the car. All she does is just walk around the passenger side, pretty much. Doesn't bring up her sex at all. Doesn't try to make a thing of it or anything like that, or accuse him of mansplaining. Hey, Omaha. Yeah. I was in the Air Force. I was an NCO in the Air Force, so I know the shit when shit rolls downhill. So yeah, and I've dealt with idiot officers. Are you saying they make gender and race an issue now? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that they talk about nowadays. I mean, you're not hired based on your talent nowadays. If you're black, you get the job.
Pretty much.
Or if you're Hispanic, you get the job. If you're white, no, they'll pass you over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's like, let's go serve and protect, like a team. She's doesn't make any big deal about it. And I'm watching this going, if this film were made nowadays, there'd be whole spiel, I would say a whole line, line of dialogue for a female to berate the man, because for whatever reason, pretty much.
Yeah.
And all she does is just walk around the side. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're partners.
I mean, yeah. You also get the you get the bad guys who will be sexist, but you do get, or none of the good guys made an issue of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I for those who are like new to these types of streams, I have to skip through the film. I try to play what I can, but even without sound, I tend to get hit. I don't know what it is. Some bots going around on YouTube. But very quickly after they leave the precinct, they get a call for suspects armed and dangerous.
They're going after Boddicker and his crew.
I might get a shot of Boddicker and his crew.
I love that. You burnt the fucking money.
Yeah.
It's as good as marked. He's right.
Yeah. So this is Boddicker and his crew.
And the guy to the left or to the right of the screen is the Bobby that flies.
Yeah, you burnt the fucking money. Yes.
Yeah.
Most people will know the guy in the middle, the one who's yelling at Bobby, as Red Foreman.
Mm-hmm.
The best character on the 70s show. But one of the best villains in any action movie. All right? And his name. I love his name. It sounds like he should be like a stockbroker or some like bookworm or something, like Clarence Boddicker.
Yeah.
Doesn't come across as like a villain-ish name. But
sounds like a numbers runner.
I for me, it doesn't come across as like a necessarily villainish name, but like when you really get introduced to him, you're like, yeah, he's a villain.
Yeah,
he's a villain.
He's also the president of the Federation in the 6th Star Trek movie. That's right, he is. Yeah,
I don't remember the 6th one that well.
I think it's the Final Frontier or whichever one it was. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the only one I don't really remember too well. I know I've seen parts of it.
My favorite out of all the original Star Trek movies was Undiscovered Country.
Mm-hmm. That's 5, right?
I think so, yeah. And it's the director's cut that I value the most because they showed a little bit more.
Yeah, Red Foreman left his family and changed his name for a life of crime, yes. Even he had to get away from them.
Yeah.
So, again, without needing any exposition, we can tell that they most likely robbed a bank, or at least robbed a place with a lot of money.
Blew the vault.
Yeah, and he's yelling at the guy, and he says, I had to blow the door, which is the reason why the money got burnt. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, once Bobby bites the dust, pretty much, the team, Boddicker's team itself is 5 people.
Yeah, he just wanted a reason to get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because no villains really need a reason, but the reason here is pretty much because Bobby screwed up.
Yeah.
Because Bobby screwed up.
And they needed to ditch the pursuit, so.
Yes. So, because I said, like I said, as quickly. I wish I could play this scene entirely.
I just love that.
Stupid asshole.
He's fucking freaking out. He's like, what? What do you want? The dude has just lost his freaking mind at this point because he's so pissed off.
Yeah.
Is that Ray Weiss? Yeah.
Yeah.
A younger Ray Weiss.
Yeah, I know. I'm watching this movie going, holy shit.
Yeah.
And in Pursuit is Murphy and Lewis. Okay. And again, I wish I could play this Pursuit because I might get hit. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip forward because they track them down to this factory. The abandoned factory.
RoboCop is free on YouTube?
So yeah, I just rented it through Amazon, so that way it was easier for me to skip through stuff.
Yeah, I own it.
So
I got it on Vudu. Haven't got the second one on Vudu, but I can watch the second one in my head. That's the kind of person I am, folks. I can literally watch, if I've seen a movie enough times, I can watch it scene for scene, line for line in my freaking head.
So, and one thing we didn't talk about the Pursuit scene, or at least the initial, is Lewis and Murphy kept calling in for backup.
Mm-hmm.
And each time it was like, backup is unavailable. So when I get to this point, it would have taken 20 minutes for backup to arrive.
Yeah.
That gives you perspective of the shitstorm that these cops have to deal with on a daily basis if there's going to take 20 minutes for any backup to arrive.
In this case, I would have actually waited for him because they obviously went to hold up. So.
Yes. Star Trek Motion Picture, Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, Voyage Home, Final Frontier, Undiscovered Country. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Undiscovered Country is the one I don't remember too well.
So you're telling me... Sorry.
I've seen the first 5.
Yeah, so you're saying that the president of the Federation was played by the guy that plays Clarence Boddicker. He was the Klingon president?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So not only did he leave his family in the 70s and change his name and turn to a life of crime, but he actually changed his species.
Yeah.
To be a president.
I mean, well, here's the thing. This takes place in the future, so this is Red Foreman's, like, grandchild or great-grandchild.
Yeah.
And he just happens to look like his great-grandfather, Red Foreman. So in time and middle, his name changed because one of the daughters had a kid. So
yeah.
Piles of biblical references in this movie, allergies out or allegory. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, Federation president, basically, but it's like,
yeah.
So, and I like a lot of stuff like diving deep into this like film would require like a long stream, which is why I go through these quickly. Otherwise, we'd be spending like hours talking about the socio-political commentary amongst like the themes in this film, the allegories, and so forth. Because you like it's not smack in the middle of the 80s, but it's still within the 80s, and we were still at the height of the Cold War. So you see a lot of when I say political, I don't mean political messaging, but political references to what's going on in our world, pretty much within this film, and the fear most people had of scenarios that could possibly happen if, say, for example, the Soviet Union decided to nuke the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So, you had films like Red Dawn, for example, like setting up the scenario that what if the Soviet Union, it's the Cubans actually, but with the help of the Soviet Union, invaded the United States, pretty much. Not necessarily a believable scenario if you think about it, but at the same time, it was what people were thinking. Like, what if we were invaded? What would we'd like to form our own insurgent groups, rebels, and things like that. That's what happened. So.
And here's another thing, folks. All these movies back then were agenda based. However, they put a story in the freaking film that you didn't really pick up on the agenda at all.
No, because they made
it entertaining.
RoboCop and Terminator were warnings, not freaking suggestions. Yes.
I know.
It's like here, what Bo says, it's like it's political ideas and ramifications, not like today shoving ideology. So basically, it was positing the idea, posing the idea, and what possible ramifications could possibly happen without going like you have to think this way or anything like that. You have to believe what we believe. You have to think the same thing we think, pretty much. No, they're going to set up a scenario and have the audience think, okay, like we have this scenario and we have this possible ramification. All right, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, Doc Brown even changed speeches to Klingon as well.
Oh my God, Fanja.
Yeah, give some money to Dan so he can send me.
He
20.
saw, or I put a Native American, one of those new quarters now that they have out nowadays, and he wanted one, and I accidentally spent it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was like,
or the stories were done so well that the agendas were thought of as fictional and created to suit the story. Yes. Hey AJ, dead or alive, you're coming with me. Yes.
This scene where he does get shot to shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to, or if you play it frame by frame, you can see interesting things. Like when he gets his hand blown off, you can see the wires underneath.
Yeah, I'm trying to get because this is the scene we're talking about Lewis has been knocked out
Mhm.
by one of the guys in the group, Joe, I believe.
Yeah.
And so Murphy's gone in alone. And like Orange had said, this is where I would have like waited for backup. Even if it had taken 20 minutes, I would have waited for backup.
Yeah.
No worries, Mike. Yeah, old school practical effects. Yeah, even when his helmet is taken off, I was like watching this going, you have practical effects, them accomplishing this basically movie magic with practical effects. Some of the effects, especially with the ED-209, look dated. Like you could tell that
Mhm.
stop motion in some scenes and things like that. So it does date it a little bit. However, like when he takes his helmet off and like he like just you're looking at his face and like the back of his head, all practical effects.
Oh yeah.
And they achieved something better back in 1987 than most CGI that I've seen now.
Yep.
I don't
The
think it's
only
necessarily cheaper. It's easier.
Yeah. The only real dated effect in this movie that is super dated is the ending where the guy or Dick Jones goes out the building because they used a puppet and the arms were way too long.
Yeah, I like. There's still like little bits like when ED-209 was moving, like you could tell
Yeah.
it was stop motion. I'm not saying that it's a negative of the film. I'm just saying like some of the practical effects were a bit dated, but at the same time, it's the time period. They didn't have
Mhm.
CGI, so that's what we worked with. But a lot of the practical effects in this movie, a lot better than what I've seen with CGI nowadays.
And even nowadays they sometimes use stop motion in different studios and whatnot. They actually mixed stop motion with CGI in Jurassic Park Dominion
Mm-hmm.
for the Raptor specifically.
Watch RoboCop stop motion smoothed out. It's a fucking trip. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
CGI, even CGI, like there was some CGI, yeah, in Terminator 2, and it can't be matched today.
That's
How
because
they,
it was chrome.
yeah,
Makes it very easy to make
but
it.
still, it's like
Yeah.
most of the effects nowadays are like I wouldn't even top it. Yeah, the melted man scene at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, where one of the guys runs into toxic waste. That's another kind of
Oh
a theme.
right. Yeah.
Not really a theme in this movie, but at least like at least like a little bit of messaging because you have the possibility of nuclear war. You have the factory setting with nuclear waste and
Toxic dumping.
toxic dumping and things like that. So, unfortunately, the Murphy scene today would be CGI. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Well,
Guillermo del Toro could do something, but most
actually, the Murphy scene today would
Mhm.
be not shown because of how graphic it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because they show him or they loaded up Peter Weller with so many squibs,
Mm-hmm.
including one in the back of his head for the final shot that Clarence did.
Yeah, I'm gonna
The
try
coup de grace.
playing this real fast and I'll watch because I sped like I fast forward a little bit basically. So what Clarence is doing is like he's like tracking the gun along Murphy. Murphy's on the floor.
Yeah. This is when he blows
And
his
watch
hand
this.
off.
Goes down. Boom.
Yeah. You can clearly see that's
Yeah,
absolute fake.
but stopping it, yeah, you can see, like definitely see it. But when you're watching it, holy shit, he just blew off his hand.
Yeah.
Hey Donnie, hope everyone's well on this 91st birthday of legendary film score composer John Williams. Oh, happy birthday,
Happy
John
birthday
Williams.
to the legend.
Yep. There's an NBC nightly news theme tune, The Mission, introduced me to him. Well,
Nice.
the Star Wars theme introduced me to him, pretty much.
Yeah. Star Wars, Jaws, basically every freaking
Yeah.
every sci-fi or horror back in the day.
Yeah, makes it practical in CGI. Yeah.
I got a hypothetical
try to-
question. What if question? How would the movie change if instead of RoboCop being Murphy, it was Frank Castle? Lancer, that is an awesome question.
How would the movie change instead of RoboCop being Murphy? It was Frank Castle. You're saying
Yeah.
instead of Murphy, it was the Punisher.
Yeah. Robo Punisher. Everybody be fucked. How about that? Because he would, or
because there's
Frank Castle
humanity
doesn't.
in Murphy.
Yeah.
Frank Castle, when he becomes the Punisher, has no fucks to give.
Because put it this way, folks. If Murphy got a pen and stare from the Ghost Rider, he'd probably feel a few things. Frank Castle looked at the Ghost Rider while he was using that pen and stare, and he's like, yeah, and?
I'm trying to get... It's really hard. All right.
Right here. Yeah.
Oh, you see this frame right here. Like, you know, when he actually gets his arm blown off.
Yep.
And how morbidly, ironically fortuitous that this happens to Murphy when we've just been given the scenario that this company is looking to create an officer who doesn't need to eat or sleep and can pretty much patrol 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm. And his only source of nutrition is baby food.
Yep.
Essentially.
Yeah,
but
so it's tragic. It's tragic because, you know, Murphy's a nice guy. He has a family, but how ironically and morbidly fortuitous.
Don't let or what was it? Some twisted, psychotic politicians kept on saying, don't let a good tragedy go to waste.
They say don't let a good crisis go to waste.
Well, yeah, well,
something
I'm going to slightly amend it.
Don't let a good tragedy go to waste. And so I'm going to kind of play this without sound a bit because he is shot by 4 guns.
Yep. And these are shotguns. They're pounding right through his armor.
Yeah. Yes. So I gotta pause a little bit so I'm not like playing it. Yeah, I'm out of ammo. The only reason they stop pretty much is they're out of ammo. And I love just Clarence is just like watching this.
Yeah, he's just getting bored.
Watching this.
Yeah. He's like, okay, fun's over. Coup de grace.
Punisher does get a War Machine armor in the comics.
Holy shit.
Yeah, there would be hell on earth if Castle was RoboCop.
Castle's ordained. Put it that way.
Even fun fact. Yeah.
Sorry.
The director didn't like the script and thought it was trash on some early pages. It was his wife that convinced him to read further before it got him more interested.
Yeah. Who was the director of this? I forget.
Well, it's a Paul Verhoeven film. So
yeah,
Verhoeven.
Verhoeven. Yeah. I forget.
And Clarence is the one who delivers the killing shot.
Yeah.
Because Murphy is still alive. Like, damn.
That's called a will to live, folks.
Yes.
And his body would have given out in time, but these guys got off on the violence.
Yeah. Trying to get to the shot where he shoots him.
Right here. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think it'd be a killing shot? Because, well, I mean, it is a killing shot, essentially. But
yeah.
Headshot, pretty much. Today, Ann Lewis would become T RoboCop. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, T RoboCop, No, it would be a transgender RoboCop. Let's put it this way.
With the stick in his mouth, yeah. I'm saying that's how nonchalant he was. He's just like, he's sitting watching this go on. Like, that's like a true psychopathic mentality. Which is like why he works as a villain. Where he like, on the surface and name, he doesn't come across as a villain. But he is truly psychotic.
Mm-hmm.
And in that nature, he has no feelings, no real human emotions whatsoever. He is the antithesis to Murphy's character, to the point where he can just sit there, watch all this happen, light a cigarette, and then just shoot the guy in the head and walk away.
As for Stunning and Brave Megatrons, what are RoboCop's pronouns? Dead or alive?
Yes, pretty much. And Gasp, we don't get his backstory. Yes, we don't like. He's not one of those. How would you call it? Like, we don't need his backstory. He's not a sympathetic villain or anything like that. He is a pure villain. There's nothing to sympathize with the character, and that's what I love. That's what I love. Sometimes I'm not saying not everything is black and white. Like it's good versus evil, things like that. I know there's some gray areas, but at the same time, sometimes there is truly evil in the world, and Clarence Boddicker is like an iteration of that. Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence be the first RoboCop. Oh, if T was a typo, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so so today Ann Lewis would become the RoboCop. Yeah, and so it'd be her, not him. And I love how immediately after this, like after, it's just real quick, the doctors are trying to save him. And all you hear is the doctor's dialogue. You know, like there's no like drawn out or anything. They're trying to save him, and then you see it goes to black and goes time. Which tells the audience Murphy died.
Mm-hmm. His life was flashing before his eyes, and in the scene while they were trying to resurrect him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like we didn't need any full-on anything like that. They're going through trying to save him, and you see he's like life is flashing before his eyes. This is his wife. So he sees family saying goodbye to him. Or not goodbye to him, but he's saying so long to his family. And it's just... I'm trying to get to word.
Right here, yep.
Yeah. Trying to go. It's really hard to skip. So it goes to black. And without telling the audience can figure out Murphy died. On the upside, I would cast Gina Carano as Lewis.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
They actually freaking race and gender bent Lewis in the attempt that they did in what was it, like 2017 or some shit?
Oh, you're talking about the 2014 remake?
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah. So, and then immediately there's no funeral or anything like that. It goes from this where it says time, let's call it time, 6:15,
and then digital wake up. Yep.
I love that. So it doesn't exactly give the audience a time to breathe, but it does insult their intelligence.
Yeah.
You have to set up the scenario that there's a RoboCop program because Bobby, Miguel Ferrero's character, dropped that name, I believe, in the board meeting.
Yep.
So there's a program already in the works. You have this tragically fortuitous convenience of a test subject, so to speak, for the program. And voila. Immediately goes into he's waking up, but it's digital.
Yeah.
He's not seeing the world because he's not completely human now. He's not seeing the world as he would a human. But he still, we find out later, still has a bit of his humanity in him.
His brain is in there. It's just it's a full body prosthesis. Yeah, they managed to save the arm. Yeah, they ended up able to. Yeah, they ended up able to save his arm, but then he's like, "We agreed for a full body prosthesis, lose the arm."
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get it to that.
Yeah,
like I said, it doesn't matter. We're gonna blank his memory anyway. So we're gonna wipe his memory. Very 80s. Very 80s.
And they even failed at that because he ends up remembering everything anyway.
Yeah. So, or at least memories start coming back to him. Mm-hmm. Like first as a dream. Because his brain is still going. So first kind of in a dream state. And then when when Lewis says Murphy, this word gets thrown around so much like now. I hate using it because of the fifis on Twitter, but it triggers.
Mm-hmm.
It triggers something in him.
Yep.
At this point, he doesn't remember who he is. The brain rebuilds itself.
Yep.
And that's when I play like Miguel Ferrer's line. We were able to save the arm. Like, I think we should lose the arm. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
They keep the hand in the remake, and it's like, man, nice callback to this one, but it's like, I love that. He's legally dead. We can pretty much do what we want to him.
So like Bobby and this guy aren't exactly bad guys, but I'm like, come on.
They're soulless to a degree.
Soulless to a degree where they're not like completely psychopathic like Bonneker.
They got 20% soul left.
Yeah, pretty much. But I'm looking at this going, come on, dudes. Like he was still like a human once.
Mm-hmm. And I also love during this whole scene because he's waking up on his own during this scene or during this whole scene to cover the passage of time. Sorry, didn't mean to sound like Kamala Harris there, but yeah, I love how he keeps on waking up and seeing the different things going on. New Year's them celebrating and other things. It's just great.
Oh, what? Was he the helmsman? I know I've seen Star Trek 3 because that's Search for Spock.
Said it right.
But I can't remember the helmsman in the Excelsior. Is that?
Yes, Miguel Ferrer was in a Star Trek movie.
Okay, Miguel Ferrer. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at going, I'd have to rewatch Search for Spock.
Miguel Ferrer, dude. He's now
been around for a long time.
He's been around and he's missed nowadays. He acted all the way up to his death. And he even acted after the massive stroke took away or impaired his ability to speak.
Yeah. I believe he's Rosemary Clooney's son. Because his father, I believe, is what's his father's name? Jose Ferrer? He's in the original Dune. I'm going to look this up. He was born in 1955. Yeah, his mom was Rosemary Clooney because he's cousin of George Clooney. And his father was Jose Ferrer, I want to say. So, I know him from the Stand miniseries because he was in that with Gary Sinise and Molly Ringwald and Ray Walston. And
he has been in
what's the guy's name?
Franchises galore.
Yeah. And the guy who played the devil was in Law and Order: Criminal Intent.
Yep.
Jamie.
Iron Man 3. He was he was also in, or the show that I liked him best in was NCIS LA, where he acted out his life, or finished out his life essentially. But yeah, this dude has played in so many great roles. Miguel Ferrer was one of the last vestiges of good Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's only a few of them left now.
Yeah, so lose the arm.
Yeah.
And I wish I could play this segment because, like, Murphy repeatedly wakes up, so we're seeing all this from his perspective. He wakes up and he sees them like working the robotic arm in front of him. He wakes up even during a New Year's Eve party. Tells you like some passage of time has happened. And they were even surprised that he woke up on his own.
Yep.
I would have Robo Gina stomp a husband beater. Yeah. He was in Halo 2. Yeah. He's been in a lot. He has been in a lot. So. And I want to like focus on this.
Yeah.
One of these scenes here.
His
where
rebirth.
Bobby is asking him his objectives. I got.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. All right.
The prime
I was
directive.
rewatching this, and Bobby's lack of reaction tells me that he, like, you know, again, we find out later that he had no idea about 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because once Murphy lists off all 3, he's satisfied. But then you see this on the screen. Because what are your prime objectives? And you see these 3 lists. He's serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law. So you see that on the screen. All right, and Bobby is satisfied. That's good. And what shows up? Sorry, I gotta.
The first indication.
Yeah.
The first indication that somebody tampered.
Yes. Yes. We don't know who at this point, but that someone tampered, and there's a 4th directive. But it's classified. Not even Murphy. Not even RoboCop knows what that directive is. It's classified even to him. And again, story sets it up. Doesn't insult the intelligence of the audience.
Because this was back during the day where people could had what's known as deductive reasoning and deductive thought.
Yeah.
We didn't need to have everything explained to us.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. And like after going through tests, I love the scenario where we see where it's like, you know, it's like he's patrolling and he encounters certain situations. Hey, fuck Norris. And this is the first one he encounters.
Yeah.
Oh, and the guy on the TV, I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah.
Would never fly today. Wow. I wish I could play this scene entirely.
The gloves that the robo gloves that he has are foam rubber. And there was a short that I saw earlier on YouTube that the scene where they toss him the car keys and he catches them, they went through 50 takes for that scene alone because the keys kept on bouncing off his damn gloves.
Wow. I didn't realize 50 takes.
50 takes. They wasted a day's production doing that one scene alone.
This guy is not the one that gets shot in the dick. The next one does.
Yeah, it's the rapist.
Yeah. This guy just gets yeeted into
Yeah, I just love that. Fuck me, fuck me,
Yeah, like,
fuck me. It's like, what the fuck?
It's all he's repeating.
Yeah.
It's like the RoboCop's not going down. I like just bends it. It just clotheslines him, so he just flies into it, just the door. And he knows he's fucked pretty much.
Yeah.
So these are the guys that get shot.
Yeah, right here.
In the dick. All right. Hey, because he's coming across this woman's being attacked. These guys are like planning on raping her. So
full on violation, dude.
Yes. And I love because he holds her, and this guy with the knife holds her at knife point, thinking like, you know, this guy RoboCop is not going to shoot him because the victim is in front of him. But
the Auto 9.
He just tracks.
Yep. Now, for those of you who are wondering, the Auto 9 is a real weapon. However, it is highly modified. It is a Beretta 92F. dressed down to the nines.
Yes. Yep, and his dick is gone. I love how he just tracked down and figured out where the woman's legs are spread, how high up anyone hit her, and just shot through her skirt and got the guy in the dick.
And the other guy's just looking like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah. I love when she goes to hug Murphy, and he's like, you're still going through shock. I will contact the rape crisis center.
Yeah, right.
Like he's still by the book. Like she's thanking him, she's hugging him. It's like I will contact a rape crisis center.
Yep, because this is because at this point right now he's still going off programming. He hasn't had any flashes yet or dream yet.
$5 super chat from Albert says I'd buy that for $1. Scene would feature 2 buff dudes with Linda Carter saying the line because he loved Linda Carter. Yeah, no emotion because he's still like his programming pretty much, like Orange Hat says. So like, and I like how it's introduced that his his human side is like starting to like basically bubble to the surface through Dream. Again, it's like not explaining anything. Even the people, like scientists, can't exactly figure out what's going on, but it's showing the audience that something is happening in his brain because that's like his face and his brain are pretty much what's left. Of Murphy.
And I love how that scene goes too, because he's hooked up to the computer, and the idiots that are going through this thing he's just resting, essentially charging up. Or recharging, and then he starts twitching and whatnot. It's it's just such a great scene where he starts to wake up.
I'm just gonna pause on this scene here because the dream happens after this, but this puts again more perspective on Dick Jones as a character, pretty much.
Yep. This was the scene that I was talking about earlier. The men's room scene, he's talking about Dick Jones, just making fun of him and shit. He's like, fuck Jones and whatnot. And everybody knows that Dick is in there. And so one dude is leaving and he's pissed himself.
Yes, like the guy that was talking to Bobby pretty much doesn't even bother to shake. Much. He's still kind of going a little bit, and you see the spot on his crotch when he's leaving. Tells you that he doesn't even bother to wash his hands. He's like, I'm out.
Yeah, it's like, we are now out of here because we don't want to die.
Again, I feel like I'm a broken record at this point, but again, it's like showing the audience, not like telling the audience. It's showing the audience that Dick is not a guy you mess with.
Yeah.
And
later, he plays a president.
Yeah, and in this scene, again, it shows that Bobby is now in his crosshairs. Figuratively and literally in his crosshairs. Because Dick is still upset. In his mind, that Bobby went over his head to get the RoboCop program in place of the ED-209. And it shows that he is a legit villain.
And I absolutely love it. He's like, who cares if the thing didn't work? It would have given us a bunch of contracts and made a lot of money. Who cares if it didn't fucking work? Yeah,
I'm saying this scene right here, again, harkens back to how, his response to seeing someone die in front of him.
He doesn't
he
care.
Wasn't he did not care. His mind was we're gonna basically fix the program, it'll be good in a matter of several months, things like that. Not, oh shit, maybe we need to go back to the drawing board because something is fucked up in this machine. No. He still wants to go ahead with the program. He's just witnessed a man get shredded in front of him. By the very creation of that program.
Mm-hmm.
And then you fast forward to this one, again, just compounds about how Dick is you're kind of building up that he is a villain. We find out there's more to it, but he is a villain. Because he's literally threatening Bobby. And why? Again, just because Bobby's program was picked.
Yeah.
And he sees Bobby as basically a threat to essentially a threat, not a big threat, but essentially a threat to what his goals are, and that is basically incorporating the ED-209s and retaining power, whatever power he has.
He's the second in line with Bobby, or Bobby's too ambitious for this guy, so Bobby has to go, basically.
Mm-hmm. Stock options are worth more than human lives to those people. It's like, basically, that's the character in a nutshell.
He is he's the living embodiment of what in this case, a capitalist pig.
Yes. Doesn't even think of the consequences if people find out he's someone who wanted faulty ED-209 that goes around killing innocent people. No. Because him, by that point, he is beyond the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
He's callous, he's unfeeling, and flat out just doesn't care, and he's egotistical on top of it.
And he plays the President of the United States in Murder of 1600.
Well, perfect. Present material right there.
Exactly.
So
and a very weak president, mind you.
Yes. It's crazy because he plays such a nice guy in Beverly Hills Cop. Well, it shows you, basically the caliber of acting when an actor can play both a villain and a nice guy and still come across as believable.
Mm-hmm.
Richard lives by his name in this movie. Yes, he does. He lives by his name in this movie. First Beverly Hills Cop introduced me to Ronnie Cox. So, and here...
Yep, this is the scene.
I'm going to see... Yeah, I'm going to get... Okay. Okay, I'm going to, she's... The one leaves, one scientist leaves. He's recharging, in so many words. He's asleep, and you see just his hands start to twitch.
And then his brain is lighting up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Yes. And he's asleep, and then twitches again. I want to get a shot of Boddicker on the screen. This is wired. There it goes.
Yeah. Now, was that Boddicker or?
Yeah, it's Boddicker, because he's the last memory he has is like Boddicker walking up to him and shooting him in the head.
Yep, that's right. That's right. That is Boddicker.
So he's remembering. He's remembering his last moments on Earth, where we are literally witnessing the brain repairing itself or beginning to repair itself.
The brain holding on and trying to, or this is what's not, or a lot of people take a transplant or a transplant patient where they are given drugs so that the body doesn't reject the transplanted organ. This is what happens if you're not given those drugs in a cybernetic level between a machine and the organic. His brain is literally fighting the machine.
Yeah, and the only dialogue in this scene are the two scientists, and they're not really paying attention to the screen or anything. They think it's just everyday run-of-the-mill. He's recharging, he's asleep, nothing's going to happen. And all we can see in the background is him, literally, his brain and, fighting with the cybernetics and just shocking himself awake.
Yep. He's basically having a seizure and a dream at the same time.
Yeah.
You've heard of fever dreams?
Yeah. It doesn't hold the audience's hand or anything. Doesn't, explain anything to the audience. It just leaves it this is what happened. So what's going on? And don't you guys in the chat miss a time when, you didn't need much exposition? You could figure it out what's happening. You don't need the characters to tell you what's happening.
Believe me, I
miss those stories.
If I could go back in time, I would.
Yeah. So it's because again, we are not given a lot of exposition. We can put the pieces together and come up with a conclusion, where we don't have any of these scientists explaining what exactly happened or anything like that. Lewis is even blamed at one point because they think that they full on throw her under the bus, proverbial bus, because they see her interacting with Murphy.
Yep. She says his name,
they assume that she's the cause of it. That's why he's kind of going rogue, so to speak.
Yeah, because they catch up to him as they see her in front of him, And it's like, oh shit! Well, they just got their perfect excuse.
Yeah, that's why, like I said, I think of those who have served, whether law enforcement or military we can tell you about how the shit rolls downhill.
Mm-hmm.
They don't take the blame. It's their creation. Their screw up. They don't take the blame. They blame the person on the lowest rung.
Yep. And it's like, what'd you say to him? Nothing. But then
Yeah.
and then she comes clean. She's like, I just asked him his name. He said he didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm gonna see, like, like she catches up to him. I'm gonna get to the part where she realizes
Yep.
it's him, like what he does. She's like, again, like what I said, something that seemed minor early on. So she sees something.
Oh, the finger twirling was when he first went to the police officer. That's earlier in the film when she notices the or during target practice.
So she does.
Yeah.
So.
At this point, she does know who he is.
Yeah. And she's, because don't you have a name? And she sees him coming. And he's taken aback.
Yep. It's like, what is this? That's basically, that's his human body that's his brain reacting. The step back, it's like, the brain is like, what does this person know?
Yes. Yeah, his like moment of realization. He steps back from her. And they throw her under the bus, pretty much. Mm-hmm. So, when I get to the gas station scene.
Oh, right, yeah.
Both robbing a gas station of its money and its gas.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then like after the guy gives him all the money, like, fill her up on pump 7.
Yep.
And this is the second instance where, because Emil recognizes.
Because of the dead or alive,
yeah.
You're coming with me.
Yeah. I want to get to that point.
He's like, wait, what?
I want to get to that point.
It's further back.
It's a little further back.
Like right there.
There. Yeah. Again, nothing in the script is minor. Because I wish I could play these scenes, like I said, otherwise I'll get hit. But early on, when like Murphy tracked down Bonneker and his crew and shot the one guy, and just like pointing the gun at me, like, dead or alive, you're coming with me.
And play this for like a couple seconds, and you'll see him literally blink in remembrance right here.
Yeah. Like,
like,
oh shit.
Wait, we killed you, dude. You're dead. Yeah. Which causes him to have even more triggers. He actually records this conversation, which is something that's pretty interesting because we learn that he's literally walking evidence.
Yeah, like we like, because like, when like I said, I wish I could play the segment where they're going through the diagnostics and things like that, because at one point you can see the playback function. So he is pretty much like walking evidence, like a walking CCTV, pretty much.
His memory. Yeah. His memory is admissible evidence.
Yes. So actual payoff, folks. Actual payoff. A line is uttered earlier in the film, and the payoff is later because the guy remembers Murphy saying that to him. Again, like, it's more likely it's also more very likely at this point that it's Murphy's human side also like coming out, because it's like, yeah, it definitely sounds like something RoboCop would say, but because it was something that Murphy said, you have that basically the balance of the cybernetics and the human element right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Murphy said.
And it's also something that is so binary, so to speak, that it does make sense that a cyborg or that a computer would say it, dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Yeah. A criminal that isn't so stupid as to be fooled by a partial face covering, yes.
And
to Nemo's credit, he's smart.
Exactly. And this also, or when he's saying this does cause, because we can't show everything, this causes him to blanch, basically. This causes Murphy to stutter, to blanch, and it's like, what?
Let me see if I can play this a little, because it's not that long.
Yeah, go forward like 10 seconds, or just hit the 10-second
he says,
forward.
I know you.
Yeah.
Here it is. You're dead.
Record.
Yeah, we killed you. And starts shooting. It's recording. And Murphy, or RoboCop, stops. And he actually kind of lowers the gun. Emil almost gets away at this point. And I love this. Because again, you have Lewis, you have his memories coming back. You have Lewis calling him Murphy, and you have this guy remembering him. And to RoboCop, why would this guy remember him? He's like processing all these events now.
In real time, essentially.
Yes.
And he can't, because he is mechanical at this point, he can't, or this would get any other cop killed. Mm-hmm. In this sort of situation. If another cop, if an organic cop, if a living, breathing cop had this sort of pause, they'd be dead. That is it's pretty ironic in this case. Or not ironic, but I forget what the word is.
Murphy wants revenge.
In a sense, yes. Mm-hmm. That is basically what it does come down to.
Because Gabriel asked, is it revenge he wants, or is he just doing his job and bringing criminals to justice? So,
when he lays beat down on Boddicker, it's slight revenge, or it's revenge at first, but then Boddicker literally reminds him that he is a cop.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Enforce the law. He can't go overboard.
No. So. There is that element, because after his interaction with this guy, and
Stieg,
I love this.
Yeah,
I love how he's like walking through.
Yeah.
Like the data center, and you have this like Poindexter type character. Like, you can't be in here.
Yeah, it's like, get the fuck out of my way.
I love this. Play this game. It's like he's like, you can't be in here. You can't be in here. Boom. Like, oh shit.
Like, yeah, fuck you. Get out of my way.
It's like, oh shit. I love the look on the guy's face.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Like when the spike comes out.
Yeah.
I'm watching the scene and I was like laughing so hard. Because I could figure out what the spike is for, but just the look on the guy's face, like it's like, I know I'm going to trigger Rhino by mentioning anything from Star Wars. But it's like when C-3PO said, I suggest a new strategy. Let the Wookiee win. I suggest a new strategy. Let him hack into the system.
Yep.
That's what I think of with the same thing. I suggest a new strategy. RoboCop will initiate the Murphy's Law's protocols, yes.
And I love how the jack is literally in the middle finger section.
Yes.
It's like,
I love
fuck off. Quite literally. RoboCop will initiate the Murphy's Law protocol. Yeah, there you go. Your dentist said you've been skipping your appointments lately. Or
oh my God.
Your appointment. Boy. Boy. That reminds me, I got a
first person to use that spike, right? So this guy has no idea what the thing's for. Yeah, I know. It's like,
yeah.
Like, I know he has no idea what that's for, but like, he basically backs off. Like, it's like, okay, you can do what you want to do. You do
Well,
what you
look
want
at
to do.
Stig quoting scripture.
Taking his past surrounded by fire, biblical returning from hell on emotional level. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, in his eyes. Yep. It's like, yeah.
It's like,
You know,
I don't want that shoved up my ass or my pee hole.
yeah. So it's like, yeah, you do you, pretty much.
You could tell this guy had a kinky background.
like another shot where he's just staring at that thing.
It's like, this is something I've never seen before. It's fascinating yet disgusting.
Yes. And then like, oh look, that's how he hacks into the system.
Alias are fingerprint photo ID.
Yeah, he goes to
Yeah.
photo ID because he takes it from the recording of Emil's face, inputting data.
And notice the different angles of RoboCop when he is turning those things. It's because the jack or the hand jack is a puppet arm. When he brought up the arm to bring out the spike, and then if you pay close attention to how it moves when he's bringing the hand down, that's not a physical move that he can actually do in real life. So you could tell that it's puppeteered.
Yeah.
Just a little movie trivia for you all.
And like I said, I'd love to play this entire scenario because, again, like he's processing all of this in real time. I love how it's like again, without holding the hands of the audience, we can tell he's processing all of this in real time. His memories are coming back. Lewis called him Murphy. This guy recognized him, said that we killed you, pretty much. He's inputting the data into the system, coming up with the name of this guy as well as his crew.
Known associates.
Known associates, which leads him to Boddicker, which goes back to that's the last memory he has of Boddicker shooting him. And everything that just like you see the litany of crimes this man has committed.
Oh yeah,
I'm talking about Boddicker, and he scrolls down to it's like murder, Murphy.
That was his most recent.
Yeah.
Right there.
I'm gonna try to get there. Suspect, murder, Murphy.
Yep. Suspect, murder. Alcott, suspect, murderer. Pretty much. He's a cop killer.
Yes.
Now, folks, we all
Murphy.
know what most cop killers would happen to most people who are cop killers if they're not, or if they don't make it to the station. They're most of the time, or it is literally dead or alive. You're coming with us.
Yes. And this is where
Avenging angel knows all sins. Yep.
Yeah. Demonic vibe, yes.
Right, he goes home first before he goes on the mission.
Yeah.
Because he's waking up, or he has his freak out in the house. Yeah, this is literally waking up from a nightmare.
Yes. Think of it like this way, like someone who's been in a coma.
Yeah.
Waking up. And
your memories are coming crashing into you all at once.
Because this is where he walks through these rooms.
Yep. He's remembering his son, his wife.
I love how the realtor is pretty much just a guy on a TV.
Yep.
Again, how like corporations have their fingers in everything, pretty much. Corporations have their fingers in real estate. Also, it is very corporate. There's no human element to it. He's not walking around with a real estate agent or anything like that. There's no one showing families this home. It's more or less you walk in. Oh, do you want the house? Like let's have these televisions set up everywhere, and the random man on the screen would like tell you everything about the kitchen or the bathroom or the master suite, pretty much. Museum industry, see?
Yeah.
So.
Dead or alive, repent or be judged, according to Steak.
Mm-hmm.
Fitting. 25 years. Yeah.
And he's like looking at this area, and then it flashes back to, again, what he said his son watched.
Yeah.
Oh, look. He's remembering. And his son's watching that TJ Laser show.
Yep.
So, predicted the future. Yes. So, like I said, it's like as simple as the story is, and like Steve has been pointing out, like the biblical themes in this film, but they're couched in such a way that the film is still entertaining. It's not lecturing you or anything like that. It's allowing you to draw your own conclusions. It's presenting scenarios without and possible ramifications without telling you how you should feel about said scenarios and ramifications. It's like, again, I miss these movies. It's story first. It's story first. Yes, there is a little bit of messaging in it, but it's not in your face. It's subtle. It's about corporations, right? How big corporations can get and like the control they can have on our daily lives, pretty much.
You really got to think deep in order to pick up on the messaging.
Yeah. Like the world politics happening at the time. Pretty much. Because like they were still in the throes of the Cold War. There was still the fear of what the Soviet Union could do and things like that. You can still see that a little bit in the film as well. So, but I want to see this scene where he finds the one guy because he's tracked down the associates at this club.
Ray Weiss's character, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Ray Weiss's character. So he's tracked him down. Leon Nash. Arrest mode, Leon Nash. That's one. Where's Clarence Boddicker?
Boom.
And I love how the guy just catches it and keeps dancing. It's like, hey, I just caught a gun.
It's like, hey. It's like, what the fuck?
It's just like, he just keeps dancing. Though.
Yeah. I just love that.
It's like nothing new. Just caught a gun at the club. Happens all the time, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, really? He's in this scene? Where is he in this scene? I gotta look up the trivia for that.
Maybe that really was him, the one that caught the gun.
Maybe. I would laugh so hard. It's kind of like it's kind of like Edgar Wright in his movies where he has like cameos.
Early on, when RoboCop is reborn, he walks on water in a scene. Later, he is all Murphy. He wades through normally, symbolizing he is now human again.
Oh, he is the dancing guy with the gun?
Yep. Called it.
He's dancing crazily.
Fucking called it.
Like, hey, I got a free gun.
Yep.
And Ray Weiss. I love how like this guy, like there's the only thing like human on him is his face. Like you could tell. But I love how Ray Weiss still tries to kick him in the balls. It's like right on metal. You see the clanks on metal.
Yeah.
And the look on his face. I love like that it's able to blend humor in this scene. I just or like just the scenes in general, pretty much. Like there's still a little bit of humor in these moments, even with the psychopaths and Clarence's group. Like Joe, like he's a full-on psychopath himself. All of them, but you still had to laugh sometimes. This is where you find the director. I'm gonna have to look at the trivia. It's like where he is. Oh, he just grabs his hair. Let's talk. Just like drags him out.
Yep.
You said there? All right, hold on.
Yeah, that one there. The one that caught the gun.
Guy with the white hair in the club. That was him.
Yeah. Well, that's a chick with white hair.
Okay. Well, so I didn't realize he was in this scene. All right. Although he's like basically gotten both email and Leon at this point.
Yeah. Bobby's sad demise.
Yeah.
But he does deserve death because he's sinning horribly right here. Whores leave.
Yeah.
Or bitches leave. Or
I love how he's Clarence comes in. Hold on. And when the one girl asks, what do you call me?
Yeah. Gee,
She's
Bobby,
old.
see you later.
Yeah. At least he has some fun before his end. Yes.
Yeah, he
Obviously,
got
you know, like,
to
okay,
do a line
okay.
off a woman's tits.
Yeah.
Can't get much more lucky than that back in the 80s.
Yeah. It's like I love how like Clarence just comes in, doesn't say anything,
Mm-hmm.
just grabs Bobby, kind of like around the back of his neck, holds the gun up to him, like Bobby can tell, like, or at least at this point he's fucked, if not royally fucked.
Yeah, this is Boddicker in kill mode.
Yes.
Notices
He
deadpan
doesn't say
face.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bitches leave.
Yeah.
That's all he says is bitches leave.
Gee, Bobby. Bye.
I love this. I love. You gonna call me? And when we turn around, I'm like, what?
I mean, seriously? He's about to get freaking roughed up. I don't think he's going to live through it, honey.
Weiss, the old man, and Miguel Ferrer all signed up for Twin Peaks not long after this movie aired. Huh.
Yep.
Yeah, they did with the quickness. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kurtwood Smith is like, I know most people know him more as like Red Foreman from the 70s show, but yeah, he is like one of the best villains.
I will always know him as Clarence Boddicker because I never watched that 70s show.
I watched it a bit. I wasn't like religious about watching it, but I watched it and like I know Red Foreman.
I caught a couple of episodes. That's about it.
Yeah. He's basically known for saying like, you know, dumbass.
Yeah.
Like, you dumbass.
Do you know who I am? Why is it that every fucking rich person says that? It's like, do you think they care?
Yeah, because I was like, do you know who I am? And all you see is Clarence just like putting a silencer on the gun. He's just like screwing one on. Like you said, as if he cares.
Yeah.
As if he cares. He's literally come into the house, pulling a gun on Ferrera's character, on Bobby. At this point, it's safe to say he doesn't care.
Yeah. This dude is being paid to take or to do something specific. He does not, he doesn't care.
I didn't show that scene earlier, but I love when he goes, "Can you fly, Bobby?"
Clarence, no.
No. Clarence, no.
Chuck Norris was to play Red Foreman, but backed out. Smith replaced him. No shit. Well, I think that was
Chuck
actually
Norris. As much as I love Chuck Norris,
that wouldn't have been good. No, that wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't have worked. Kurtwood Smith is like the better choice.
Yeah,
he is a better choice. Yeah.
If you think you're gonna get away, it's like, dude, he is gonna get away with it.
And he just shoots him. No, he just shoots him in the legs. And like he's not even saying anything.
Yep.
I'll give you anything you want. And this is where you find out. Oh, look.
It's Dickie Boy.
Yeah. It's Dick.
Yep. What a dick. Dick move, Dick.
Again, without exposition, it's showing the audience Dick and Clarence know each other. Clarence works for Dick. And there's a reason why Dick wants to be in power, because he is pretty much a criminal mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
He's a criminal mastermind.
And I love this timed grenade that he sets up, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it also shows that Miguel Ferrer has no upper body strength. It's like, dude, if I had a will to live, I would literally push myself up onto that thing, grab that grenade, and throw it as far away as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, he doesn't get to do that.
No. So finally, and I love how, like, you know, again says the thing, like, you know, whatever he's paying you, I'll double it. And I very likely could have, but at the same time, like, no, Clarence, I didn't know you liked Dick. But again, it gives you enough exposition for you to put the pieces together about basically Dick Jones as a character, and that is, like I said, he's a criminal mastermind. He's a proverbial, like, he's kind of like, I don't want to say he's the puppet master, but you know how, like, this old, like, you know, kind of gangster movies where you find out that the reason why certain gangsters or criminals get let off easily is because they actually have an inside man, so to speak, and their connection is with someone like in law enforcement or politics. Essentially what this is. But again, if he lived, he would have had to call that woman back later. So, yeah. Probably died because he didn't want to call her back. So this is what like so Kurtwood does. All he does is, as Dick is like going through this, every game is a winner. And boom, poor Bobby.
Stig, Dick equals false prophet that gets cast down. Literally, RoboCop is Christ allegory. Dick preaches false idols and gods, the inhuman robots.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
You could see pieces of him flying everywhere.
Yep. Well, this Bobby flew that day.
Yes. Can you fly, Bobby? Pieces of me can.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that scene when he does go after him. He's like, I will shove all this shit up your dumb, like, you can't say the W-O-P ass that you'll be shitting snow or you'll be shitting snow for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know too much about like the man he's talking to, just that he's like basically another.
He's an Italian.
Yeah, he's an Italian. He's like leader of like another gang, and it's one of those where it's like I'm guessing they're trying to put together some business where it's like you scratch our back, we scratch yours, sort of situation where we're not exactly friends, but we'll be close in certain business endeavors, essentially.
Yeah. Guns.
Yeah. And again, it's like a testament to Kurtwood Smith and how he plays Clarence. Like he is a psychopath. And when anybody knows anything about psychopaths, I basically I'm not going to profess to be an expert, but I must have a degree in psychology. And that one element of psychopaths is if you ask them to describe an emotion to you, like how do you feel when you are sad, or how do you feel when you are angry? If you ask a psychopath that, they can't tell you how they personally feel. They can give you textbook definitions for the emotion. That's how psychopaths process emotions, because they can't feel emotions. So they'll give you textbook definitions, essentially.
Now, what's the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath?
There's very little difference. There's like those two terms can be somewhat interchangeable, but at times there's a slight difference.
A psychopath can pretend that he doesn't care, where a sociopath absolutely doesn't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but psychopaths really don't care either, unless they care about themselves.
Sociopaths have less emotional range than psychopaths. Let's just say that.
Well,
me, I'm sociopathic.
So
to give you all a good example,
falls into either category pretty much, because he's so he's kind of nonchalant in his mannerisms and in certain situations where it's he would sooner kill you. He would kill you as easily as if you were ordering from a fast food menu, pretty much. And that's why I appreciate villains like this, is because he has emotion when it's needed, when he's yelling at Bobby in the truck sort of situation where he gets pissed off, there's flashes of emotion and things like that, but for the most part he keeps his cool. All right, he keeps his cool, and to him it's he doesn't see a human being in front of him. He sees an obstacle or a target, pretty much. That's his mentality.
Oh God, here we go. Stig.
Yes. Yeah, notice how the gang of villains also behave like a hyena, screaming, jumping around, behaving like a pack of animals with Alpha leading them. Yes, he's the alpha. He's the alpha of the pack. Especially Joe. Joe and Emil in particular. Joe's the one on the left. Ming on the right, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
He dies in this scene.
Yep.
So he gets let off easily, in a sense, pretty much. So he's not around for when Murphy goes into full start, like, at least like has to fend off the criminals when they come to the factory.
A friend of mine who's also watching your stream, just god damn it, I got a Charlie horse. Basically sent me a text. It's like, basically, Clarence Boddicker is a psychopath. Doomsday from Superman is a sociopath. The original Doomsday.
Yeah.
He was making it.
I went 4 seconds and you don't see the slur. That's another thing I like in this movie. Like they do not shy away from dropping certain words.
Yep, back then it was allowed for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, because Joe, let me see if I can go back a little bit. Like I said, Joe on the left, you actually hear him drop the British Siggy word.
Mm-hmm.
Like full on drop that word. He's calling a meal that pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, the amount of times they say British cigarette, yes. The amount of time they say that, and he drops a racial slur against Italians in the scene, and
he calls them. Yep, there you go.
Yeah,
it's like you'll be shitting snow for a year. Your dumb WOP ass. You'll be shitting snow for a year.
Yeah, and they pull guns on each other pretty much, and I'm like,
yeah, because he's like, dude, guys, blow this motherfucker's head off.
Yeah, and this is when.
Yep.
Murphy comes in. Like, all you see is like the pounding on the door. I love that.
Mm-hmm. The hinge is just going.
Yes.
Somebody light a match in there. He wouldn't need to come in.
Yes.
With all that powder going around.
Yeah.
Even him firing in there.
I love the targeting system because he's basically tracking all of them.
Yep, which means he can.
Yeah.
He can shoot without even looking now.
Yeah, like that's again, kind of like the targeting in the T-800 basically, but he's targeting all of them. He doesn't come in and target one at a time. He comes in and targets all of them. So that way, like you said, he doesn't need to look at this point. He just needs to see where they are, and he can lock on them like that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. They come quietly, or there will be
trouble.
There's a man with an urban vehicle knocking down the door, and it's just a man. Yes.
Yep.
And that's when they laugh. Like, oh. I love the amount of guns and different types of guns they have firing at him.
It's like, okay, gave him enough, him enough time to comply. Now, deadly force is authorized.
Yep. He just takes out one at a time.
Yeah, and in this case, he's not, or he's basically was waiting for them to do this.
Yeah. Because like he's going by the prime directives established earlier, pretty much. Like if they're like until they are a threat.
But right now his prime directives and him are at odds in a sense because he is also going there with full intent to kill Clarence Boddicker.
Yes, but at the same time, his target essentially is Boddicker, but he was giving the others the option.
He was giving, it's like chance. Y'all can fuck off or you're gonna die.
It's pretty much.
Basically,
he was giving the others a chance. Like he wanted Boddicker, yes, like that was like not in compliance with his directives. Like that was like the directives and his like human side butting heads essentially at that point. But when he comes in and says, "Come quietly or there'll be trouble," he's giving the others basically a chance, like you said, to basically fuck off. I'm not here for you, so you have a chance to live. And when they started shooting him, and you said it's like he just stands there. And it's like, okay, I gave him enough time to comply. They're now threats. I am not going against my prime directives when I take all these guys out.
Yep. You're enforcing the law. They fired on police officers. Lives are forfeit.
Mm-hmm. which I have to say I love. I love how he's able to break the fourth directive, and we'll get to that at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I love how he's able to break the fourth directive. I love how that scenario plays out.
Directive 4. Shall I say what it is now, or just wait?
Well, we'll get to it, basically. I'm going to skip through this part, basically, but he's like annihilate, with the exception of Joe, because Joe gets knocked out, I think. Every one of these guys dies, and he goes after Boddicker.
Joe gets bonked,
gets,
and then
gets knocked and falls off pretty much. And I love like Clarence Boddicker, I should say, you're under arrest.
You have the right to remain silent.
I don't know, he spits on him, like just tosses him through a window. And he's still repeating the Miranda rights as he's tossing him around. I'm protected man, I've got protection.
And right there, that's when he started recording.
Yep. You have the right to an attorney. I just toss it through.
I love that. What is this shit?
I just love that.
Again, this is his human side basically saying or going off script, essentially.
Yeah.
He is in full, or his motive right now, or his only directive right now is to kill Boddicker. Yes, he's going by the book with the Miranda rights, but he is going to kill him, or that is his intention right now.
And Mammoth says, I love how Murphy messes with Clarence as he's tossing him around. It feels like he's doing the one thing Clarence did to him. That's like what we were saying, like his human side.
Essentially, yes. He is giving just basically, or just as good, except not putting holes in him.
Yes. So this is like, again, like we're seeing like basically the full on, basically like,
man in control.
Man in control. And we're seeing like, it's like his human side is starting to take over the cybernetic side. And then also you can tell like the human side is taken over when Boddicker says, "You're a cop."
Yep.
And that stops him. And again, like Orange Hat pointed out, that he's recording now.
Mm-hmm.
He's a senior, and I love how Clarence is spilling like all this evidence.
Yeah, he just basically ratted out his own boss.
He's ratted out his own boss. He's like spilling all this evidence. Yeah, new brain-body connection. Yes, Miranda writes, quoting scripture to the sinner allegory. In a way, yeah. I love how all he's saying is if this is going to stop. If this is going to stop RoboCop. Anything you say may be used against you. And he tosses it through another window. And Boddicker is like all cut up. And
bloody beaten.
Drops his name.
Yep.
He snitched so quick. Yes, he did.
Well, he thought he was going to die.
So, yep.
Death is a good motivator, folks.
But he's saying is that this is going to stop RoboCop, pretty much. Yeah. I would understand it if this were like a human cop, maybe like that would stop someone. But like you don't know at this point if the RoboCop is going to stop.
He doesn't even know who this cop is. He doesn't recognize him.
No, like Emil did.
He knows, yeah, exactly. Emil did, but Emil's dead before. No, wait, Emil didn't die.
Emil's still alive.
Yep, that's right.
As far as we know, Emil's been arrested because you don't see him after he crashed his motorbike and
until he's bailed out.
Yeah, until he's bailed out. So he's arrested.
Yeah. His human side is angry. He still has emotion, but I disagree about intentions to kill. The intention is to arrest and bring him to justice. He's reading the Miranda rights after all.
But he's also throwing him through a window.
But he is also beating the shit. He's actually committing a felony by doing all of that.
Yeah, so there is a human side. Like his human side is not just angry. If he was just angry, if he was just reading the Miranda rights and just wanting to arrest him and bring him to justice, which is like the ultimate, which is like what he ultimately ends up doing, then he wouldn't be yeeting him through windows.
Mm-hmm.
This is the human side. This is someone who anger is taking over, and he's remembering. His memories are coming back, and he is full on taking advantage of the fact that he's able to do this. And it's not until he said, "You're a cop."
Yep.
When he's getting choked right here, or was getting choked, like, "You're a
Right
cop."
here, yep.
Like he's
And
like, he was ready to kill Boddicker at this point. He's like had him in a death grip.
and I believe it's Directive 2 enforce the law, or 3 enforce the law, that he is being reminded of right here.
Yeah, so SCP runs the cops. He gets choked. Again, if it was just to arrest, he wouldn't be doing this.
His intent there is to kill until the word cop is uttered.
Yeah. I just want to, yeah. See, look at his face. You're a cop. Like, he is. Look at that face. That is a guy who's
been reminded of what he's doing.
Yes. Because he would have snapped Boddicker's neck.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And he even says, "Yes, I am a cop."
Directives uphold the law. So the law says, I can't kill him. I'm not upholding the law here, because I'm ready to kill him. I'm not upholding the law, so I'm snapped back.
Yep.
He snapped back into RoboCop mode.
The machine is basically getting control again.
No.
Or trying its best to remind him what he is not allowed to do.
Yes. And he just stops.
Because if he does violate or attempt to violate his directives, he will shut down.
Yes. Which, okay, because we know about, remember, chat, we know about the 3 prime directives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But there was a 4th one for those who were from the beginning, that there's a 4th one, but all we know is it's classified.
Yep.
Right? I'm going to skip over him bringing Boddicker in.
Yeah. He's going to Dick Jones right now.
All right. I'm going to fast forward there. And Dick Jones he's become an officer.
Yep.
Like, he's fine. It sets up a scenario where the audience has to wonder why. RoboCop is pretty much coming to arrest him. He has the evidence against him.
Aiding and abetting a known felon.
Yep, and there's the penal code right there on the screen. C6, section 148.
Code 6.
Sounds like I'm in a lot of trouble. RoboCop goes to arrest him.
Says product violation, I believe. Yep, product violation.
Yeah.
Above.
Yes. Product violation. And here's where we find out.
Directive 4.
Directive 4. He's programmed, literally programmed, like, unable to arrest OCP executives.
Yep. Anybody who has an OC or OCP or who is a higher up cannot be brought in by him. Now, there's the Nintendo game for RoboCop. Basically shows you what happens if he violates any of his prime directives. He would shut down. If you shoot, or in the game, if you shoot a innocent, your RoboCop dies, essentially, or shuts down.
Never played Mortal Kombat 2, so I don't know. Maybe, but I couldn't tell you. But yeah, what a directive. He's literally incapable of arresting. Directive 4. See that flashing on the screen down there, chat? Directive 4. We find out what Directive 4 is. Well, should I lose that game fast? Yep.
And then he brings in Ed 209.
Yeah. Yeah, literally can't. Here's where I said, like, you see the stop motion a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So. Now, here's where I love this. Again, forgetting the fact that RoboCop is recording. Because once he's, like, ready to, like, arrest someone, he starts recording. There, boom.
I had to kill Bob Morton because he made a mistake. Now it's time to erase that mistake.
Oh, Mark II? Maybe. Sorry, I see MK and I think Mortal Kombat. Sorry.
Yeah, Mark II is...
Mark II. I don't know, maybe. But I think, like, Boddicker's a good one-off villain, pretty much. Because you don't want to overstay the villain's welcome, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's a good one-off villain. I just want to get to the part where it's like Edie
versus Stairs.
Versus Stairs. Right here. Edie versus Stairs.
It's like
I love this part.
Yeah. It's like okay, so
I'm not trying to minimize how deadly this thing is, but I was watching this part and I just started laughing because it's just standing like RoboCop's just watching it from like the other flight. And he's like ED's like just trying to like navigate these stairs.
Yeah, it's like okay, so do I put my foot down like oh shit, here I go.
Yeah.
Which, folks, it is absolutely hilarious that I am about to watch a robot fall down the stairs because earlier today I took a massive freaking fall down the stairs.
Yeah. Nice little bit of comic relief. Yeah. RoboCop is just watching him.
It's like, okay, I'll shoot you in a bit, but I gotta navigate
these stairs.
Okay.
And then
thank God. Oh shit. It's like,
and they actually just like almost like a toddler just screeches on the ground.
Yeah, it's actually a pig, I believe.
It throws a little tantrum when it falls down.
It's like, fuck, I can't get up.
Pretty much. And like RoboCop's just like, okay, it just turns and leaves.
Yeah, it's like, okay, threat's over. However, folks, what they don't show you is that Dick called the cops and said that the product is, or that he has basically betrayed the badge. Essentially, he's a bad cop.
Yeah, because he opens the door into all these cops.
Now and he can't return fire.
Yes, because they're cops.
Yep.
And there are some in the crowd. That do try to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just like they're just no, it's not just all these cops are following orders or anything like that. Like there are cops like, wait a minute, we know him.
Yep. And believe me, when I saw this or when I see this scene, it's like it is rough, man.
Yes. Because like
you can't do that. We have orders to destroy it.
Yeah. So it's these three basically from his precinct.
Yep.
That recognize him. Well, they don't know it's Murphy. When I say recognize him, they know like RoboCop. He's a good guy.
He's one of us.
He's one of us. Like to them, it's a robotic cop, but to them, it's a cop. He's one of us. Why are you shooting one of us? So I'm just like, see if I can go back a little bit to when they say.
Just hit back 10 seconds, essentially.
Yeah, it's hard even with the 10 seconds. So I'm trying to get to. Where 7 says prepare to fire.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a cop, for God's sakes. Yeah, so they try to stop it. This is when the female cop says you can't do that, and then the guy saying like we have orders to destroy it, and that's when they pretty much open fire.
Yep.
Where it's like literal fire at will. I'm trying to get to, and the only way he can escape is going over his railing and down into
dropping down several levels.
Yeah. Yes. So
nowadays they would never, or they would cut out to reinforce the ACAB stuff. Yeah.
yes.
Because believe me, folks, if she could play this with sound, the music with what's happening to him, it's heartbreaking. It literally,
Yeah.
this is one movie that can actually get me to tear up in certain scenes, which
And
isn't
Lewis
easy.
is the one that saves him, essentially.
Yep.
Let's skip through this newscasters.
Yeah,
I love
this
it.
is.
I love this. I love the interview. This guy's a homeowner, and then he talks like unemployed person.
It's because the strike is going, or because now that RoboCop's out of the way and crime is just skyrocketed because of it, they're striking.
Yes.
They don't like being under OCP's thumb.
Nope. Again, messaging without beating you over the head with it about corporations and the amount of control they can have, pretty much.
Yep.
I thought I was this unemployed person. Yes, I just got to stop on that because I got a kick out of that. Unemployed person.
It's like, this dude's definitely high on some shit.
Yeah. You know, Barnaker comes in.
Yeah.
And I love all. Yeah.
Yeah, the one you spilled your guts to. Hey, look at my face, dick.
I love that.
Dude was about to kill me.
Yes. Well, kill me. He's a cyborg, you idiot. He recorded every word you said. And I love how, like, you know, Dick is angry at Boddicker in this scene and doesn't stop to realize that the cyborg was likely recording everything he said as well.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't stop to think about that either.
Nope. Curious fact, when he's talking to the receptionist, that's his actual wife. Huh.
Oh, shit.
That made for an interesting scene.
That would, yeah. Not with that context.
Yeah.
Or now with that context.
He doesn't care that Boddicker nearly died. And
Yep.
All he's focused on is the fact that Boddicker screwed up by spilling his guts, but he doesn't stop to think that, hey, you just admitted you killed someone.
You involved me.
Yes.
Is basically what he tells him. You involved me.
Yes. Again, villain. He's the basically ultimate villain that's pulling the strings. Like the trope of the political insider, things like that. That's like the connection for the criminal that you see in particularly in older movies. It's admissible as evidence. So basically, the gist of the scene is pretty much that we have to take RoboCop out.
Yep. And lucky for you, we'll give you weapons. We'll give you the tracker. We'll give it all.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
and
what he's talking about there, Chad, he's talking about New Detroit because they're like going to be building a New Detroit. So.
And he's going to need somebody to legitimize the police or a police presence. He's basically saying, well, we'll need somebody to keep crime organized.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like basically, like Ma'am said, we practically are the military, just like Dick says, because Boddicker says I need major firepower. Can you get me that? You got access to military weaponry? You practically are the military.
Omni Consumer Products, folks.
Yes.
Is what OCP stands for.
And
they basically,
means all.
They
so
basically
all consumer products.
Yeah, they are a monopoly.
Yes. So
which shows you that law at least has been repealed.
Yeah. Yeah. And good storytelling, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't hold the audience's hand. Like I said, the name itself, Omni, like omniscient, omnipresent, things like that, is all like all knowing. All
they're God
places, pretty much.
they're God.
It means all consumer products.
Yep.
They are God.
Essentially,
They're in everyone's lives.
there you go, Stieg. There's your God reference or biblical reference.
Yes.
Omni consumer products. They are God, essentially.
Mm-hmm. New California, please. We need New Chicago. Old Chicago has run and failed. Yeah, but
Yep.
Old Chicago is now surpassed Detroit in crime. So corporations are God in this world. Yes. So hence the name. And we find out we're okay. It's like frozen on me. There it goes. It's back to that factory from the beginning.
Yep.
Where they're holding up.
You get the
And this is
gun.
where I love where you see what he looks like under the helmet.
Yeah.
And because she brought out his gun and then she hands him a drill. Like, you asked for this? Like, huh? All right, here. And baby
Not
food.
hungry.
Yeah.
It's like,
They pull up
probably
off the
should
helmet.
eat. Yeah.
And you don't see his face initially except in the reflection.
Yeah.
So I love how like they do that. So you don't have a clear view of his head. It gives you a little bit initially of what he looks like, because he's seeing his face now for the first time
since he's woken up.
Yeah.
But I also do love how they do have the scar or the bullet scar on the skin that they used.
Yeah. So he's, like I said, seeing his face for the first time since waking up.
Yeah.
There it is. Look at that. 1987. Look at those effects. You could tell like a little bit of like makeup around like certain areas, but for the most part, it's like, damn. Look at that.
I mean, that is insanely well done.
Yeah.
Almost as if a person's real freaking face was put over an actual freaking robot. Why can't they do that stuff nowadays?
I don't know. Yeah, you may not like what you see. Yeah.
And I also like how he's like, he asks her what happened to Murphy or his wife and kids. But he asks him, or he asks her in the third person, essentially. Yeah. Murphy had a wife and child. What happened to them? He doesn't ask what happened to my wife and child.
Yeah. Because his memories may be coming back, but overall, he's still RoboCop. He's not Murphy.
Yeah.
So, and I love how I'm trying to get to the point where she helps him target. It's like she's basically saying like his wife started her life over again.
Yeah.
Oh, the scene where they fire the gun.
Yeah, it's after this scene.
I know, but I just want to see like, yeah, this guy stole a car from the police impound pretty much, and Clarence shoots it. So basically, like this scene is basically just like showing off the guns they have. That they have major firepower going after Murphy.
50 cal or above.
Yeah.
Unless you also have, or basically it's anything that's armor piercing.
Yeah.
That's a big enough round can pierce his armor.
And we find out his targeted system is messed up.
Yep.
So he asks Lewis to help him. I would have moved right away because I would not know how messed up his targeted system is, and I'm seeing him miss the baby bottles.
Right.
I'd be like, yeah, let me just quickly go over here behind you, not like near these bullets. And she's just like calmly like takes the blanket off, like, okay. I put her gun on, like, can I help you? So you see his target is like it shows a shot like through his like targeting system. See, now it's targeting, and she helps guide him. Yeah. And she helps him because she's his partner.
Yep.
Not because he's better than him or anything, because he's his partner.
And they didn't even need this to become a romance either.
No.
Or in any sort of twisted fashion. They were
Nope.
just partners.
Yeah. All right. Want to get to... Okay.
Right, when he threw the...
Yeah.
Yeah, he threw the thing.
Yeah.
That's also known as gathering intel, folks, because if he didn't know what kind of weapons, but he would because of his cybernetic scanning. But it's like, okay, now I know what kind of firepower you have.
Yeah. He's looking for me, and he takes out Joe. I'm going to get to where Emil crashes into the toxic waste thing.
Right. And yeah, right there.
Yeah, and this is practical effects, folks. Practical effects. Look at how nasty.
Yeah, I mean,
like
even his skin is basically just peeling off.
Bye-bye, Emil.
And I love how...
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Yes, I was just saying practical effects.
Yeah, and when he gets ran over...
Oh, yeah.
He just falls apart. He doesn't explode. He just falls apart.
Yeah. I love how he's trying to, he gets up to Ray Weiss's character Leon and the face on Leon, like, get the fuck away from me.
Like, get away, man.
Yes. So
it's like,
yeah, Lewis is chasing. Yeah, look at
that is like.
Look at that. Because like Leon's like, get the fuck away from me.
I mean, I should take a screenshot of this and turn it into a meme. But I'm not going to mention what kind of meme because I don't want you demonetized or have any sort of things put on your thing saying context. You know what I mean?
Yes. So I'm going to get to the... Oh, I want to play this.
Yeah, right here.
Right here. This comes out.
Uncle Clarence's retarded cousin. Whoops! Did I say that? Sorry.
And just like you said, he just explodes.
Yeah.
Like he just boom, all like body parts flying.
Yeah.
Again,
there you go, stunning and maggot, or stunning and bread.
You're not supposed to like laugh at these scenes necessarily, but at the same time, it's like you cannot help but do so.
Your body is reacting in a way to save you from the trauma, so you laugh.
Yes, and like just like splat.
It's like, oh my god, that is hilarious, but it's you're laughing at the macabre. Yeah, it's macabre. It's hilarity.
Yes. So Clarence crashes. And this is where Lewis makes a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I would have stayed behind the door. Because, she doesn't know if he's knocked out or anything. And this is where she gets shot. And again, would not happen in today's movies because you can't have anything happen to a woman. God forbid she show any potential of getting harmed or emotional weakness or anything like that.
Not to mention, some of the areas she gets shot in, I'm surprised she's even able to stay on the force because she got shot in the shoulder, she got shot in the chest, she got shot different areas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm sorry, but the fact that she also fell down into murky, muddy water, you got infections. How the fuck did she live?
I don't know.
But then again, there
have been like miracles where bullets miss vital organs. Like you think someone would die from the bullet wounds, but they've missed enough vital organs that someone's able to survive long enough afterward. And here's the walking on water scenario where he's coming up to Clarence. He's essentially walking on water.
Yeah.
This is where Clarence is trying to buy time because Leon has made his way to these controls where he's going to dump all these beams onto. See. And as he's doing this, we see Lewis basically crawling towards the gun, the big gun, 50 cal that Clarence had. See,
through the power of fallopian tubes.
Wow. Who?
Abomination quoting Disparu, apparently.
Power of fallopian tubes, yes.
By the power vested in me from the fallopian tubes.
Yes. I love how Ray Weiss's character goes out because he's so happy. Like they're both cheering. And she just like aims the gun.
That's enough of your ass.
Yeah, I got him, Clarence. Boom.
Here's your reward.
I love that. Boom. He gets exploded. Yes.
Exploded? I don't think there's even atoms of him left.
Yeah. And here's where you could tell, like, you know, like the makeup and everything. You can see some of the dated effects when he's like moving around under the beams.
Yep. A
little bit. I like.
Okay, I'm gonna kill you now.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not gonna bother getting a gun. I'm just gonna try to beat you to death, stab you to death. Like now, it's like full on visceral hate. Like, you know. I love how he takes out Clarence.
I love that splat, you know?
Yeah. Because remember that jack that he used to splice into the computers?
Yep.
Boom. I love that. Where it's not just, like, you know, he's not just splicing into the computers, he's splicing Clarence.
Yep. Final judgment.
Yeah. So many payoffs, yes. So many payoffs, yes. Because, again, you don't just see that thing once. It comes back. It comes back. Which is what I love about this movie. And I love what you don't see. You see the aftermath of it. But you don't see him, like, it pierced the skin.
Yeah.
You should see the blood come out when he pulls it out, and then Clarence is no more.
Yep. I just love that gout of blood that just splats on him.
I just love it. This is like such a great death scene. Like he just Kurtwood Smith just like milks it. You can tell a little bit while he's dying. He just milks it.
It's like, okay, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like,
I love it. And I love Lewis's line when
I'm a bit messed up.
Yeah, I'm messed up. Like Lewis, like he makes sure she's okay. I'm a mess.
Or I'm a mess. Yeah. And then I love what he says in response. They'll fix you. They fix everything.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she lives.
Maybe. Yeah, they'll fix you. They fix everything.
Yeah.
Now here I want to skip through here.
Yeah, because he gets to. I love how he blows off the head of Ed 209 with one of the big rifles.
Yeah, I would show that, but we're getting like over 2.5 hours, so
yeah,
I want to show the chats for those who, at least like have not seen the movie, or have seen the movie, how he was able to bypass essentially Directive 4.
Yeah,
and I love how it happens. I love how it happens. Like this right here is the president of the company. He's only called the old man in the credits.
Yeah.
He's like, "How can we help you, officer?" Like you see this RoboCop just come in. How can we help you, officer? But you can tell, like, in the company, he's probably the only one with a relative soul intact.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's the one that would have shut down the ED 209 project after like everything, the shit that went down. He was willing to talk to Bobby Morton, that character, and get another program off that would not risk human lives or innocent lives, essentially. So he at least has some humanity in him that we can tell. and he has
which
Shannon.
is completely evaporated in the second movie.
I know. In this first movie, he still has some humanity left in him.
Yeah.
And Dick Jones is wanted for murder.
And I also love how he points out, it's like, my programming prevents me from harming him.
Yeah. Yeah. My program will not allow me to act against an officer of this company. What is your evidence? And all he does is turn to the monitors. I love how the Spike is still bloodied from Clarence.
Yep.
And it's like, I had to kill Bob Morton because he made a mistake. Boom. There's your evidence.
And I love how this guy looks. He's like, "Oh, we got you now."
Like, he looks at him because like he was the guy that worked with Bobby Morton. So like he was at least close with Bobby. And he's looking at him like, "You motherfucker." Yeah, Peter Weller.
Yeah.
Dick. Yeah, here. I'll get to that part.
Yeah.
Because he tries taking the old man hostage.
I want a chopper.
Yeah, get to the chopper. Now, we will walk to the roof very calmly. Because, again, RoboCop has like stated, like, my program will not allow me to act against an officer of this company. And the old man is smart.
And at this point, this is Murphy in control. He's constantly reminding himself of Directive 4, hoping that he can override it. Or that it will be overridden.
Yes. And you kind of see the old man thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, like Murphy has stated, like, my programming will not allow me to act against an officer of this company. So what does the old man do?
The old geezer.
How do I make him not an officer of this company? Yes.
And I love that scrambled out. Away. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Dick is no more.
Oof.
He goes out the window, boom. Oh, the look on that guy's face is like, yes.
He's like, yes. Now we got it. Like, yeah, look at that. Look how fucking long his arms are. It's like, oh my God, dude. Your arms are like, what are you, a silverback gorilla?
Yeah. But I love how it's overwritten. It's so simple. It's so simple. Yeah. How is he not an officer of the company? Fire him.
Yep.
Fire him. He's no longer an officer of the company. I love that. Doesn't have to be a drawn-out fight or anything like that. Just, Dick, you're fired.
Raining. Jesus Christ, stunning. Raining Dick.
Yes. Well, literally is, and that's the end shot, pretty much.
Well, yeah, there's the "What's your name, son?" Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, like, this is pretty much the ending. He does a spin. I love that move.
Yep. And then hustle. Good shooting.
Son, what's your name?
Murphy.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
I love it.
Yep. He finally accepts himself as Murphy. He's able, at least he's able to make his human side and cyber sides compatible. He's now, they are no longer at odds.
Yep.
They are no longer at odds.
Until we get into the
yes, they do. Mm-hmm.
Into the nitty-gritty of the second one next week.
Yeah. Yeah, which will
is
be
also
next week,
heartbreaking.
Yeah, which will be next week chat. RoboCop 2. This is kind of like our 1s and 2s each month, and this month was the RoboCop 1 and 2 was voted as a topic. So up next will be RoboCop 2, and then the Wednesday after the RoboCop 2 stream, when I do the top 10 movie discussion with Steve Kenobi, I'll have a poll up on Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, look for that poll in about 2 weeks. where I'll give you guys 4 options to choose from, like the first and the second in the franchise, essentially. So, this past poll, I had included Lethal Weapon 1 and 2, Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and Jaws 1 and 2. I'm going to save Jaws 1 and 2 for closer to the summer. I'm not a fan of Twitter either, Michael, but an easy place to put a poll, pretty much.
We also, or your community tab can also do it.
So, well, see, I don't want, like, see, I have more followers on Twitter. I'll see. I'll see. Because not everybody uses the community tab on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I might not get a good sampling, essentially. So I don't know, because if I put it on Twitter and on the community tab, I might get 2 different options. So I don't know. We'll see. Well, it will most likely be in July. Maybe not the 4th of July week necessarily, because that's generally the first week is generally Cringe Factory. But it'll be like right after. So it'll be close to the 4th of July. Yeah, so, but not everyone does it. I've seen other people put polls up on YouTube, and I know, and these are channels I know that have a lot of subs, and they barely get any interaction on the polls. So I'm not doing Jaws 4. Jaws 4 can fuck right off, in my opinion. It's
Jaws 4 doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's fun to watch for memes, but that's it.
Yeah.
But next poll will include both Lethal Weapon 1 and 2 and Ghostbusters 1 and 2 again. I'll figure out 2 other 1s and 2s to include. Because I have Evil Dead 1 and 2, Fright Night 1 and 2, Gremlins 1 and 2, Boondock Saints 1 and 2.
Great movies.
Hellraiser
there.
1 and 2, Halloween 1 and 2. There's a lot.
When we do Boondock Saints will have to be in March.
Well, that'll be next month. I can pretty much choose that for next month without doing a poll.
There you go.
So, you know what? Fuck it, chat. Boondock Saints 1 and 2 will be the next 1s and 2s. I won't put a poll. I'll make it simple.
Yeah. There you go.
Boondock Saints, and Boondock Saints 2 All Saints Day.
Yep.
In March, which is fitting because of St. Patrick's Day, everyone. It's St. Paddy's Day. We're all Irish.
Yep. The 2 movies that have the most fucks.
Yeah, pretty much.
And also,
it certainly illustrates the diversity of the word.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Boondock Saints, Ron Jeremy is in Boondock Saints. He's now committed to a mental facility.
Yeah, pretty much.
They nut house the King of Nuts.
Yeah, pretty much. I've seen the director's cuts. I have it, but I have to find out somewhere to watch it online. I don't have to necessarily refresh because I absolutely love both those movies.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going to do the director's cut, I have to find it online. So.
I can help you there if you got movies anywhere too. I could see if I could send you the Screen Pass. It should allow special features access.
Yeah, I do have. Well, it didn't for Aliens, but as long as I get like the movie itself, I should be good.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you, chat. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. That is RoboCop, the first RoboCop night from 1987, and next week we'll be talking about the sequel, RoboCop 2. Pretty much, that's what it's called. There's like no fancy name to it. All right, so if you want to participate in the chat, if you have not seen the movie, you have a week to watch it. We'll be starting it around 8 p.m. Eastern, same time next week, and then the following week will be the top 10 movie discussion. And we are in the early 2000s. Steve Kenobi and I did our top picks per year in the 1980s, then top picks per year in the 1990s. Now we're on to our top picks per year in the early 2000s. All right, so from 2000 to 2009. Will be next 2 weeks from now. So if you want to participate in that, get your list together. Your top picks per year from 2000 to 2009. Yes, we do not talk about 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, thank you, chat, again for joining us. Orange Chat, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
You guys can find me on YouTube at Orange Hat Reviews, Twitter at Orange Hat Reviews, Instagram at Orange Hat Reviews. I have other alternates on Getter and Minds, but I'm barely on them. Also, if you want to hear Star Wars or EU Star Wars content that I do, I have a Twitter for EU content called Valkorian. You could find me at Valkorian2185 over on Twitter as well. I have a guest choice review that I'm doing at 4:30 or Eastern Standard tomorrow for Power Rangers, the movie, the original one. And I do mystery reviews every Tuesday afternoon at 2:30. The hints for next week's, which is on Valentine's Day, if you got any singles out there that have nothing to do, just tune in then. The hint is a Living Dead romance. So if you can guess it from that.
I think I know. I can guess, but I don't want to say. Hold on, I'll put it in the private chats.
Yeah.
What came to my mind.
Yeah. So. All
right.
But yes, you're right on that. But yeah, you can catch me there or all those different places. And I'm just trying to get my watch time up. If you guys can help check out my playlists, I got a bunch of them. So thank you so much for having me, Mara.
Frankenhooker.
I mean, there are several movies that actually fit it, but
yeah. But anyway, yes. Yeah. That's where you can find Orange Chat. You can obviously find me here. This is also my second YouTube channel, Jade Shadow Live, where I'm slowly building it up. I do solo live streams there pretty much now that I have time every Friday early afternoon where I talk about basically pop culture topics and cringe, and then jump onto Twitch right after that. So tune in for that. And this is my Twitch. I'll be live there tomorrow, probably about 7:30 p.m. Eastern, thereabouts. The plan is to play Batman Arkham Asylum. So do a playthrough for that now that I got it working through Steam. So that is the plan. So anybody looking for a playthrough of Hogwarts Legacy, I do not have that game. So there is From Dusk Till Dawn.
Was there romance in that?
Vampire. Oh my god! What was the movie in High on Life? I think it was Vampire Hookers. It was basically High on Life. The game I played through with the Rick and Morty humor. Would actually have full movies playing on the TV screen. And one of them I believe was Vampire Hookers.
Nice.
But yeah, you can catch me. Yeah, but those are places you can catch me. And so thank you all for tuning in. Next week again is RoboCop 2. So have a good rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And we will see you all next time. I'm going to kick us out because I have a clip to play before my normal outro. So see you later and take care. Peace.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.